All right, everybody, happy day to you and welcome to SubTo. If you guys are watching this for the first time, it means you have not picked out your avatar yet. And I know that some people might not know exactly what that means, so let me explain what that means. As I've been in real estate for years and years, I find that the success rate of real estate is heavily tied into the avatar or the channel or the path that you choose to go down. Some people don't like to cold call. However, there are mentorships out there that's basically all they teach. Other people don't want to become a real estate agent. However, there are people heavily successful as being real estate agents. Some people say, I don't ever want to talk to a seller. Meanwhile, somebody like me absolutely loves talking to sellers. So over the years, I have created about 20 avatars that you could specifically choose and go down that road to have a higher level of success. Okay, some of these avatars are very well known, like direct to seller, which is an avatar that I will talk about first. This Zoom is about 4 hours long. And my goal in this Zoom is for you to choose one of these avatars, not 2, not 3, not 10, but one avatar, and stay consistent to this avatar for 60 days. Now, inside of SubTo, we have this magical thing called an MSA, a member, that's you, a SubTo member, a member success advisor, somebody who for 60 days is your accountability partner once you join SubTo. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to choose an avatar through watching this 4-hour series, and maybe we'll chop it up and make it a little bit easier for people to digest. But the challenge is, as I talk about these avatars, some of them kind of blend in and bleed in over each other. So it'll be a little bit challenging to cut it all the way up. So once you say, oh my gosh, that's my avatar, right? I want you to tell your MSA, your member success advisor, hey, MSA, this is what I want to commit to for the next 60 days. And your MSA will hold you accountable for the next 60 days to that specific avatar. Now, inside of SubTo, we also have very active accountability meetings. We're doing one next week, actually, with Robin Hurt. We're going to be calling it the Elephant Challenge. And we're calling it the Elephant Challenge just because how do you eat an elephant? Well, you take one bite at a time. Real estate is an elephant. It's very big. It's vast. It's huge. There are so many different ways to succeed. And you will have a really hard time if you look at the whole elephant. But if you look down at one little aspect and you stack skill after skill after skill, you will quickly become a lot more successful than if you hadn't done that. What I did for a long, long time is that I was so fearful of taking on this big giant elephant that is real estate that I didn't take action. I was actually super fearful. And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where the money comes from. I didn't know how to hold property. I didn't know how to manage things. I didn't know how to do all of those types of things. And so I wish somebody would have taught me through an avatar series, which is what this is, what path I should choose and what I should dedicate my time and energy to. Because this business is very simple as long as you understand your personality and as long as you understand what path you should follow. Some people jump in and they join a mentorship that is all about cold calling, okay? There are, believe it or not, mentorships out there that's all they teach. They teach you to cold call, cold call, cold call. And they tell you, if you don't cold call yourself, then you have no right being in this business. Or how can you teach somebody else to cold call if you've never cold call yourself? And to that, I say, well, I also don't clean my own teeth or change my own oil or install my own roofs. And so guys, as professionals, you will learn in this avatar series that you need to know thyself. Know yourself and know what you're good at, what you're not good at, and hone in on paths that will get you closer to success. Getting your first deal, getting your 5th deal, getting your 10th deal, becoming a millionaire, quitting your job if that's something that you want to do. And in some of these avatars don't ever quit their job. That's another funny thing too, is that there are people out there that will teach you that you should hurry and quit your job and burn all the boats. Guys, that is great advice for very specific people with very specific personalities. But I don't know about you. As I learn things from people, I have a hard time knowing whether that's good advice for me or that's bad advice for me. Not all good advice is good advice for me. Some really amazing, unbelievable, perfect advice with powerful, powerful messaging is actually really horrible for somebody like me. It just depends on what it is. So some people with personalities unlike my own, having a 9 to 5 job is actually a superpower. And I would never advise them to quit their job until their income in their side hustle outweighs the income of their main source of their 9 to 5. However, I see people go, you should hurry and quit your job as much as possible. Burn the boats. You should not have any opportunity to go back to, being able to pay your bills. And you know what's funny is we have students like Matthias, really good example, that was a good piece of advice for his specific personality because he didn't freeze in that moment of, I don't have income, whereas other people would have gone into depression, et cetera. So the Avatar series is meant to meet you where you're at and help you understand who you are and what you would be good at. So today, in about the next 3 hours, 52 minutes that I have remaining, I'm going to go through the current 19 avatars I currently have created, segmented out, and I'm going to tell you about the goods, the bads, the benefits, the downfalls, all of the things of each individual avatar. And hopefully you can choose one pretty quickly. You can see that not only will one of them work for you, but you will learn that multiple avatars will work for you. But in the very beginning, that's a problem, right? Is choosing more than one path is going to lead to 2 different directions, and then you split and you're never really successful. So what I want you to do again is I'm going to reiterate the goal. The goal is for you to choose one avatar. Now, I'm currently on a live Zoom, and we will have hundreds and hundreds of people watch this with me today. I might ask a few questions and let the audience ask me a few questions. But overall, I want you to treat this as this is a training mechanism for you to understand. I'm going to do some whiteboarding, and I'm going to use some examples and some stories, and we're going to tell you guys what each individual avatar is, how do they get deals, what their ultimate goal is, what kind of money you can make, where do the deals come from, and the challenges and also the positives of each individual avatar. Now, if you are watching this in the future, go back and watch it on the Zoom. If you guys want to go in, you can save and download the chat and see all the people and the comments that they're making in here. But this is a live Zoom that I'm doing so that people can ask some questions and maybe ask questions that I'm not thinking of in this live Zoom. So let's get started. We've got avatar number 1 through 19. I am somewhat afraid to show you guys the avatars in their entirety, because then you know how that works. People immediately go, oh my gosh, I see avatar number 19. That's me. It's like, hold on. We don't know that that's you. Let's get all the way through it, right? So let's click on this and we will go through these one by one. All right. Actually, I'm going to bring these in. I'm going to copy and paste them over to my handy dandy deal. And then that way I can draw on them. And we can go through them. So the first avatar, we call it direct to seller. And direct to seller is very literal. Okay. This is what most people think of when they think of like wholesaling real estate. Now, guys, there's only 3 ways to actually get into real estate. Okay. The 3 ways to get into real estate and make money in real estate are, number 1, you can wholesale. Number 2, you can fix and flip, or this is also known as develop or build. Essentially what you're doing is, sorry for my handwriting, guys, I'm going to go fast today. What you're doing is you're taking something and you're going to sell it to an end buyer after you renovate it, clean it up, improve it, whatever, right? So this is buying something and improving it. And then the third one is buy and hold. These are the only 3 ways to make money in real estate. Now, somebody might come in here and say, well, hold on a second. What about a real estate agent? A real estate agent is not doing any of these. They're not wholesaling, they're not fixing and flipping, and they're not buying and holding. A real estate agent is providing services to a listing agent or to a listing like a seller or representing a buyer. Remember, guys, that an agent is not a real estate investor. Can a real estate agent be an investor? Yes. But that's 2 different hats, right? Just like an attorney or a doctor or anybody else could also be a real estate investor. A real estate agent is not a real estate investor. They are a service provider to people who are in real estate. So let's remind ourselves that and go back to the basics. There are 3 ways to make money in real estate: wholesale, fixing and flipping, or developing, and buying and holding. And there are, as far as I have found, there are only these avatars, okay, that make sense for getting started. Okay, and here are those avatars. Avatar number 1, direct to seller visionary. Okay, when I started out, that was me, direct to seller visionary. And what does that mean? Okay, direct to seller visionary, the benefits I really, really love about this avatar is number 1, control. Because you're the one that's actually generating the lead, and you're the one that is creating the opportunity by getting the lead generated. Direct to seller is one of the most preferred ways to get into this business. It is really, really preferred to get into this business. Okay, sorry, my whiteboard is going to be a little bit tricky today because it wants to be slow. And that's okay, we'll deal with it. So when you first start in this business, the ways that this all works is that you have to generate leads, right? People to talk to, or deals. A lead doesn't necessarily have to be a person. Sometimes a lead could be an already existing contract, right? And you have to filter through these and decide what you want to do with these. Do I want to get this under contract and do I want to wholesale it? Do I want to buy it and fix and flip it? Or do I want to hold that in my portfolio, right? Buy and hold. Those are the 3 decisions you're going to be making every time you're interfaced with a deal, okay? Even if you end up partnering with somebody in this opportunity, this contract that you get, you still are going to have to make a determination with that partner you have of, are we going to wholesale this? Are we going to fix and flip this? Or are we going to buy and hold it? That's it. And when you understand that that's the only 3 mechanisms that you can actually ever use when you start in business, you realize, okay, step number 1, no matter what I have in this, no matter what avatar I choose, step number 1 is I should have an LLC and a bank account. Okay. And in my opinion, not opinion, this is a fact, you should do this before you go out and you start generating business. You should have an actual place where money can reside. Okay. And you guys know who I suggest for this. I'll be very quick about this. In the past, sometimes I'll let this deliberate, but I'm not going to today. The name of the company that we use is Prime Corporate Services.com. And then use code PACE. I actually do not get paid for that, but I do love their service, and I love that they track your guys's track you guys back to the SubTo family. primecorporateservices.com/PACE. Go get an LLC and go get a bank account. Okay. No matter what avatar you choose, doesn't matter. Any one of these 19 that we're going to go through today, no matter what avatar you choose, you need to have an LLC and a bank account. Now, no matter what avatar you choose, same thing. Does not matter what avatar you choose. You are going to need leads, whether those are people to talk to or people who already have contracts. You have to go through and look at these opportunities, whether it's you by yourself or you as a partner or as you as a group of other people. Does not matter. I've got a deal I'm working on right now where 5 people brought me 1 deal. Okay. And they're really smart. They come to me and they go, hey, Pace, we have a contract right here. We want to bring this opportunity to you. So I go, well, I don't want to pay you an assignment because it's a big deal. It's a $3 million deal, but I would pay you 10% of ownership. So I'm actually paying these people, these 5 people, 10% ownership in a big $3 million deal. Okay. So those 3 people have to look at leads, have opportunities, right? Those people, whether it's 1 person by themselves or 2 people in a partnership, like a JV type of structure, or 4 people or 5 people or whatever it is, they have to collectively make a determination. Are we going to, 1, wholesale it, 2, fix and flip it, or 3, buy and hold it? And right here, you can see that they got 10% ownership in this $3 million deal. That would mean that they made a determination to buy and hold, right? Put that in their portfolio. And there's all these things that when you're brand new as a real estate investor, you really struggle with, like, okay, should I wholesale a deal? Should I assign it? Should I wholesale it and get part ownership? Well, that kind of determines on the deal itself. But none of that exists without, one, having a business. So go create an LLC and a bank account. I also get a lot of people ask me, I know everybody knows that we use Prime Corporate Services /PACE, get a code. And then also people are asking, what bank are we starting to use? relayfi.com /PACE is the bank that we are now telling people to use because they use the same banking model that I use. They are really real estate investor centric. So go to relayfi.com, use /PACE, and I think that there's a discount. I don't know. Okay, so you have a bank account so that when you do make money, you actually have a place to put it. Then you have to go out and you have to generate leads, okay? Either people to talk to or people that already have contracts. And then you as a team, either that's solo or with an actual team of people you JV with. Obviously, SubTo students are constantly JVing with themselves, but they have to make a determination. Where are we at in our business right now? Do we need money now? Okay, well, we probably should wholesale that deal. Do we need money? Are we okay with a larger chunk of money later? Okay, well, let's flip it. Are we okay with a massive amount of money like much later? Sorry, guys, if I spelled something incorrectly, I'm going fast. Are we okay with a massive amount of money much later? Okay, well, that would be a buy and hold. Okay. So you have to make these determinations based on you as an individual. And I see a lot of people getting FOMO, right? FOMO means fear of missing out. It's an acronym. I feel it all the time, actually. FOMO. You feel this FOMO that you see other people doing things and you feel a certain way and you say, oh my gosh, this person has cash flow. This person has a big portfolio. This person has this. This person just got a big deal, blah, 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 blah. And you start feeling defeated. Don't let that stuff determine your path. Where you are in your business should determine your path. If you have $0 in your bank account, well, that's going to help you determine your avatar, which is where your leads are coming from. Okay. That's also going to help you determine your exit strategy. Okay. If you have $0 in your bank account, I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to look for a free lead generation. Okay. Free leads. And you're also going to probably be assigning or doing wholesale. Okay. Look who I got calling me. I got Mr. Kent Clothier calling me. I'm not going to answer that because I'm in the middle of a big, long Zoom. So if you have no money, that's going to help you determine what your lead source is. And also once you get a contract, what you actually do with it. All right, it's very simple. This business is actually very, very simple when you break it down. And nobody ever broke this down for me. In fact, I don't think you can find this information anywhere that you should very specifically choose an avatar that fits you and where you're at in your business, based on how much money you have, based on your personality type, based on so many different things. An avatar is going to help you do that. Okay. So direct to seller visionary is what you will see most influencers on Instagram promoting. Get deals. Let me teach you how to wholesale. I'm going to teach you how to be a closer, blah, 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 all the things you see. Okay. Most of the wholesale mentorships are teaching you this. And this is why this is going to be scary, but this is why over 95% of people that try and get into this business fail. Think about that. If everybody in here was meant to be a cold caller, like get on the phone, text people, spend money, build all these systems and all that kind of stuff, 95% of people are going to fail. They don't have the business acumen. They don't know how to hire people. They don't know how to onboard people. They don't know how to manage money, let alone they don't have any money. There's a tremendous amount of failure in this avatar. Okay, so Carolyn and Myron says, yes, we would have failed if we kept going down the DTS avatar because that's not a good avatar for them. I already know Carolyn and Myron's. Carolyn and Myron's is right here. Help her. And I'll get to that later. Okay, Carolyn and Myron, who are here. Carl, I won't spell out Carolyn and Myron. I'll take too much time. They are a helper, okay? They figured this out. They figured out that that should not be their avatar. And this is something I've always taught in SubTo. This is why our mentorship is the most successful. And most of our students will get their hands on a deal or be involved in a deal very quickly, because we don't just teach this lame ass model and expect everybody in this world that it works for. The funny thing is, I prefer this model. This is my favorite model for pace. And the reason why I like this model, here's what this model is very simply. Here's the seller. They have a house. My team communicates directly to the seller. There's no agent involved. Okay, this is me or my team. We are calling the seller through cold call. Now, of course, you guys know I own a company. If you guys want, Start Virtual is the name of the company that we use for our cold callers, startvirtual.com. So I either have Start Virtual cold call them or text them are the two main ways we reach out to a seller. And we generate leads and conversations, and we put those on the calendar, and we negotiate and ask sellers if they're open to selling. Now, what's great is no matter what I do in this model, I can do both cash deals and creative finance deals in this model. What I love about this model and why I prefer it is one major thing. The number one reason why I love this model is because of the C word, which is called control. Control gives me scalability. Okay, scalable means that I can remove myself at some point, and this can be an actual business. The challenge with this business, the number one reason why this is really hard for a lot of people, is that this business, when you first start out, costs a lot of money. Okay, not a lot. Some people figure out how to do it inexpensively, and we have a lot of students that are doing this. I would say at least a good 20 to 25% of our students are going to be this direct to seller. Okay. It costs money. And this is a real business. This means you are directly communicating to the seller. You don't need an agent. You know how to go find leads. You know how to manage those leads. You know how to close those leads. That's direct to seller visionary. I am a direct to seller visionary. Okay. Now, when I first started out, I didn't know the difference between a direct to seller visionary and integrator. I didn't even know this existed. But my partner, Cody Barton, not Kobe, he is the Kobe of integrators though. My partner, Cody Barton, does not enjoy talking to sellers. He actually enjoys something very, very important, which is generating leads. Okay. And he also likes to manage a business. Okay, I'll kind of tell you the difference between a visionary and an integrator very quickly. I'll show you an office. Let's see here. Hold on a second, guys. Let me show you my office in Mesa, Arizona. We have multiple offices in Mesa, Arizona. And we have a beautiful building. Let me share this with you real quick so you guys can see this. So here we are. My office is over here. This building is our building right here. Okay, this building is our building. I run a trailer rental business basically out of this dirt lot. My son and I run a trailer rental business right here. And then our building is right here. Okay, we own this building, and I have been to that office. Last time I was at the office was for a Christmas party 9 months ago, or whatever that was ago. That's how often I'm in the office. So am I an integrator or am I a visionary? I am all day. I'm a visionary. I don't want to be in the office. I don't want to be communicating with employees. What I want to do is I want to go raise money, close big deals, create other businesses, and then I have a partner that's an integrator that does all the back end. Okay. So if I were you guys and I wanted to understand the relationship of a integrator and a visionary, there's a really powerful book that has been written called Rocket Fuel. It's one of my favorite books, and it talks about the dynamic between these two individuals. And what I learned about with Cody is that when Cody and I first started this business together, this was now nearly 4 years ago, Cody believed that he needed to learn how to be a closer, right? I need to be a closer because every influencer in wholesale is like, learn how to close more deals. It's like, well, actually somebody should be trying to run a mentorship like what we do, where we actually teach integrators how to go generate leads and then go find visionaries that will go close those leads, and you guys can then form a partnership. What's really worked for Cody and I is that when I met him, Cody is like, I can't close deals. I can generate leads like crazy, but I can't close deals. It's not what I'm good at. And I'm like, perfect. I hate generating leads. Okay. I hate generating leads. Okay. I don't want to be the person that is sitting in front of a computer generating leads. What I want is I want to go out and talk to sellers. I actually crave talking to sellers. That would be direct to seller visionary. And again, visionary and integrator are two completely different personalities. So when I hear people out there, some of them are my friends, saying, you shouldn't have partners, you shouldn't have this, pick up the phone and dial, and that's the sentiment, there's no reason, or there's no wonder in my mind why 95% of people jump into this business or any other business and fail, is because people have not dissected the individual personality types and where people should spend their time. Okay. So if you are somebody, I would say Darren Talcott is a really good person for this. Darren Talcott's a really great integrator. Cody Barton is a great integrator. I would go into the SubTo community and find the integrators and say, hey, why don't we link in together? You generate leads, I'll close the deals. You generate leads, I'll close the deals. We'll accumulate enough money that we'll hire an employee. That person will then get trained to close the deals. And then you can generate more leads, and then we can close more deals. And you then scale. That is one of the biggest benefits of this specific business, is direct to seller is scalable. This is why I love this model. Okay. And if you want to learn how to do direct to seller, go watch the modules that we call 0 to Hero. What I did with my partners, Cody, Matt, and myself, is that we showed you guys how to start from brand new scratch in North Carolina. And we showed people how to go and start a direct to seller business. And we call that 0 to Hero. Okay. Now, the ways you generate leads in this business, some of them can be free, some of them can not be free. What I've done is I did an avatar Zoom. Number 1, I've already done this. I also did avatar Zoom number 2, and I've done avatar Zoom number 3. So if you want more clarity on some of these avatars, instead of just a high level, surface level type of thing, where you can learn how to be better versions of these avatars, then I would go watch these series inside of the SubTo course.com, right? That's our Kajabi. I would go there and you can deep dive a little bit further. Okay. Now, I go in depth, a lot more in depth of where the leads come from in those individual avatars. But today I just want to primarily kind of go surface level on what these avatars are. And then hopefully I can actually have some time to do some Q&A about the avatar series. Okay. I personally see a lot of people struggle in this business because they are actually integrators. And while they look on Instagram and they see people talking about, oh, I closed this big, massive deal, and they're feeling major FOMO about that. What they're not seeing behind the scenes is that person closed a $90,000 deal that took them a year and a half because they had to generate the lead themselves, close and follow up the leads themselves, deal with everything themselves, and it took them a year and a half. Okay. I'm not degrading or downplaying the $90,000 deal. Congratulations for doing that. But you have to understand, in order for you to be a multi-millionaire in this business, you have to have a partnership when you are going direct to seller, where one person is focusing on closing the deals, raising the money, recruiting, all of those types of things, and the other person has to be holding down the fort. Okay. Now, I love these avatars. I would say that a good 20 to 25% of people will end up choosing this avatar right out of the gate because they have some capital. but they have no time. And that is another reason why the direct to seller model works, is because you can hire out cold callers, you can hire out texting, you can hire out a lot of things, and it costs money to do that, but you can very quickly offload and delegate this business to people. Now, also, that is a downside to this business, is that it does a lot of times require money. So if you guys want to see what are all the types of lead sources that you can focus on, again, go watch Avatar 1, 2, and 3 in the Zoom Vault. And I deep dive on these 2 avatars for about 1.5 hours in a previous series, Avatar 1, 2, and 3. Go watch those and you'll get some more in-depth knowledge. Okay. Avatar, again, if you say, I'm going to do the avatar of direct to seller, visionary, or integrator, the way to learn how to do this is go watch 0 to Hero, which is also in the SubTo Vault. This is a live recording where we actually went and built a business, started generating leads, and started closing deals in a 14-day time frame, only working 3 hours a day. Now, direct to agent. This is not an avatar that I've ever been, okay? Do I do deals with agents? Yes. Okay, so this is what this is. You have a seller who has a house. Now, what do? They call an agent. And they say, hey, agent, will you sell my house for me? And the agent will take this property and they will list it on the MLS, right? The multiple listing service. This is where all houses are sold with real estate agents, is the MLS. Every state has one, every county has one, etc. There are hundreds and hundreds of MLSs all over the country, depending on the county you're in, they switch. So this agent goes and gets paid to sell that house. There are wholesalers, or investors, I should say. There's an avatar called direct to agent that will not have access to the seller directly. They will actually have access to the agent only. My operations manager needs me. What's up? Do I have my ID? Yeah. Are you trying to buy a deal or something? I don't know. I don't know where my social. If you go look in my truck, I don't know where it is. Ask my wife where it is. It's either in my office files or inside my truck. I have this like envelope thing that has a zipper on it that has like my passport and a bunch of other stuff in there. I leave my keys in my truck. Tell them to steal it. Tell them to steal it. Okay, so this specific avatar does not have access to the seller. And this can be really frustrating. This is actually why I don't love this model, okay? I don't like this model because I don't like dealing with agents that are clueless. I know this sounds harsh, and I'm sorry. This is just my experience, and I apologize. I've just become jaded. I don't like working with real estate agents. Okay. Now, other people with different personality types from me love working with real estate agents. Okay. My wife, Laura, she's one of them. She teaches a lot of our students how to do this. Jonah Korchin, mastermind student of ours, amazing guy, actually has built or is currently in the process of building a 12-week series for you guys every Friday, talking about how he built a direct to agent business, where he shows you how this avatar can reach out to agents and say, hey, agent, do you have any ugly houses or problem houses that I can look at? And again, let's say, this is very simple, guys. It's always the same thing. It's always at the end of the day, the same exact thing, okay? Jonah reaches out to agents who are in communication with sellers who have this property that you want to get your hands on. And Jonah says, do you have any ugly houses or problems that I can help you with? The agent says, yes, here's a property on 123 Main Street. What do you think of it? And then what does Jonah think? Again, the same thing. You always have 3 choices. Choice number 1, is this something I want to wholesale to somebody else? Is this something I can fix and flip or develop? Let's just start from now on. We'll just call it fixing and flipping because it's simple. But that could mean a piece of dirt that we develop. That could mean a house that we tear down and build a new house. It could be anything. Fixing and flipping is a general broad term, okay? So Or they could do 3 where he says, oh, I like that deal. I want to buy and hold that deal. In fact, I'm doing a deal with an agent right now. All right. Where somebody like Jonah, one of our students actually, Mindset Marlin Johnson, Mindset Marlin on Instagram, went directly to an agent, found a deal that was, the agent was directly talking to the seller. Marlin looked at this and said, oop, I'm not ready for this. So I'm going to wholesale this to Pace. And there's the chain. Okay. So there's a listing agreement here. I'll put an L on it. Listing agreement between the agent and the seller. And this avatar, the direct to agent, goes and gets a contract, purchase and sale contract. Typically, when an agent is involved, the agent is the one that writes that contract between the avatar or the direct to agent investor and the seller. And then this avatar goes and finds and determines what they want to do with that contract. And they say, oh, should I wholesale this? Should I fix and flip it? Or should I buy and hold? Most people, when they're brand new, this is a great way to get started, is just wholesale a handful of your first deals so you can get momentum and start building capital and understanding the terminology of this business. By the way, am I going too fast for anybody, or is this helpful? Is everybody enjoying this? Samsung says perfect pace, as if he doesn't already know this at a very high level. Okay, great. I know a lot of this is basic for everybody, but I want to make sure that we keep this very basic so that in the future I can send this to people and remind them that this is actually how you get started in the business. So this avatar, if you guys are trying to watch how to become successful in real estate, and you are the type of personality that likes direct to agent, here's what's great about this model is it's not entirely free, but it's very close to free. Okay, you're going to spend a lot of money on texting campaigns, and as you scale this business, you'll be able to hire virtual assistants, but you don't need virtual assistants out of the gate to do this model. So it is free to a certain degree. And the other thing is, people forget this, is that you can wholesale, fix and flip, and buy and hold cash deals or creative deals from agents. Okay. I actually have, let's count them up. I have a $3.5 million multifamily deal I'm doing with an agent. I have a $900,000 single family deal I'm doing with an agent. I have a piece of dirt that I'm buying creatively and going to build a house on it from an agent. So I do a lot of deals from agents, but my business model is to not go focus my energy on working with agents. You have to make a lot of phone calls. I'm just being really honest with you. You have to make a lot of phone calls, talk to a lot of agents. But once you get to a point where you have about 25 real estate agents that are sending opportunities to you, and you know how to filter whether you go, oh, this is a wholesale, this is a fix and flip, this is a buy and hold. Once you start understanding that, that becomes this very powerful business. And so if you guys want to learn how to do that business, go and watch the Jonah Korchin series called The Scorch Method. Korchin is his last name, and so we named it accordingly. And that's inside of the SubTo Zoom Vault. Okay, so you guys can go watch that as well. So what's great about this, okay, I want to be really clear, is that everybody looks at wholesale as one thing: cold call and get a deal. Cold call and get a deal. I'm going to teach you almost the polar opposite of that. A lot of these avatars that I will go through and show you today are kind of special avatars that nobody ever talks about. I'm the only one in the real estate industry that actually breaks down and segments personalities. If you find somebody else is doing it, it's probably because they copied what I'm doing. And I hope they do. I genuinely hope they do, because this industry needs to be segmented to personality types so that we can have elevated success. People that don't find consistency is because they're going against the grain of their personality. And I am apologetic to people that have been imprisoned in a 9-to-5 environment, that they are going to struggle building a business in the very beginning, because being a business owner and working for a business are basically black and white. They couldn't be further from each other. So you need to understand your avatar, so that when you jump into this business, you're not floundering all over the place and you don't struggle. And you go, oh man, I've been trying to get into real estate. I've been trying to wholesale. I've been trying to do a BRRRR method. I've been trying to do all of this stuff. Guys, it doesn't matter if you're direct to seller visionary, direct to seller integrator, direct to agent. You can do BRRRR strategy, multifamily. Like literally, this is where leads come from, right? Your avatar is where the leads are coming from. How do you go and obtain those leads? And then how do you manage those leads? It's not how you negotiate. It's not how you structure. An avatar is how you generate leads and how you manage said leads and how you build a business long-term. That's the avatar. It's not, relegating you to only doing fix and flips. In fact, every avatar can do all wholesale if they choose to do so, 100%, or they can choose to do half wholesale, half fix and flip, or they can decide to do 30% wholesale, 30% fix and flip, and 40% buy and hold. Or in my situation now, as I've scaled in my business, I'm now at a point where about 60 to 80% of what I do on a monthly basis is buy and hold. I want to buy and hold because now I'm at the wealth building part of my journey. Cash flow is no longer the desire, although I do love it and enjoy it. I don't really need to focus more time and energy on cash flow. I want to accumulate wealth. And so my phase of my avatar has changed, right? Your avatar might start out by saying, I'm just going to wholesale everything in the very beginning because I need to. And then as you elevate, you go, I want to learn a little bit more about development and build a team around fixing and flipping. Cool, so I can make bigger chunks of money. Then you go, dang, this is awesome. I actually have momentum. I have private money lenders. I understand business. I understand all the terminology. Let's go acquire an Airbnb and get cash flow. Or you might be somebody that joins this mentorship today, tomorrow, last week, 2 months ago, and you might go, I'm already past all the wholesale side. That's the funny thing. There's students that join our SubTo mentorship that I say, yeah, you should never generate leads. You should never build a team. You already have either cash or you have a system in your life very specific to just being a cash buyer. And no wholesale mentorship is going to teach you that but us. And so we show that inside of SubTo. So you got to choose an avatar after you listen to everything and understand who are you and what are you trying to do. Okay. So another one, next one. Was that good? Are we already, okay, so Frank says, you mentioned you have a model, a system of buying a property and putting government program in the house for a low income or occupational homes. Can you mention this, please? So Frank, you showed up late, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm not going to let anybody deviate me today away from the avatar conversation, okay? This is also another reason why people fail, is because they start with something and they deviate. I will not deviate today in this conversation. You can try and derail me all day long. I will reach through the camera and give you a karate chop and remind you, do not derail me. Do not ask me questions outside of the Avatar series, because this is for people today and for people in the future to stay on track and choose their avatar. So if you have a question that you want to ask about avatars, please ask it in the side chat, and I would love to answer that question as we go on, okay? So does anybody have any questions about these first 3 avatars? I'll give us 10 seconds. The person that can only type with one finger is like, I need more than 10 seconds. Now, here's another tip. Okay. Not only is your MSA here to help you and keep you accountable, right? Your member success advisor that you've already been introduced to. And if you haven't been introduced to, make sure you email support@subto.com and say, hey, I was watching the avatar video. Pace mentioned I should have an MSA. I don't have an MSA. And email support@subto.com. And support@subto.com is going to say, well, that's because you avoided the first 3 emails we sent you, 2 text messages, and 3 phone calls and 2 voice memos. We have tried to get you an MSA, but you will not reply to our messages. That is going to happen. Our team is world-class at reaching out, and you will find out that our emails have gone to your spam filter. You have blocked our calls for whatever reason, and you don't know, but we are trying to onboard you and get you an MSA. Now, once you get past that and you realize, hey, technology is actually pretty easy. Let me find my email. Your MSA, you need to tell your MSA, hey, I have questions about this avatar. Can you please help me and lead me in a direction? Now, When you introduce yourself into the SubTo community, remind people who your avatar is and what you do. And that will also help you go, hey, my name is Carolyn and Myron out of DFW, and I'm a helper. And I will explain to you guys what a helper is. Or, hey guys, my name is Elena Tang, and I do a Zoom every Saturday about mindset. I also am a helper. And you guys don't know what these avatars are? Ask people in the SubTo community, hey, you said your avatar is helper. What does that mean specifically? And Carolyn will get on a phone call with you. Okay. What's special about SubTo and our community is that we have a community. This is not a mentorship in the traditional sense, is because I tell people all the time, this is not my mentorship. This is our mentorship. This is a place where you can come in for years and years and years, do deals with people inside of this very close-knit go-giver community that is unlike anything else. That was the vision from day one. Create an environment, filter out all the knuckleheads, and only bring in powerful, amazing people into this group. So when you introduce yourself to another student, say, hey, my name is Pace. I'm a direct-to-seller visionary. I generate leads by cold calling, texting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I watch the Zero to Hero series. I'm now generating leads. I need somebody to come in and help me close my deals. That would be a helper, right? Somebody coming in and helping you with your business, okay? Sam Singh says, no community has leaders like ours, and basically none of them are on any payroll. They just step up on the daily. Now, he's right. They're not necessarily on the payroll. However, they are making hundreds of thousands of dollars by pouring into this community and doing deals with each other. More importantly, people are raising a lot of money inside of SubTo. Okay, that's something that's really important that you need to understand about this community, is that as you are in here, you should be coming to at least one Zoom a week for the rest of your life on average, in my opinion, even if you don't have a question, so that you can actually come in and raise money. I'm going to call her out. Her name is Virginia Drew, one of our great students. She's been in here for a while, lovely human being. She calls me today on my phone and she says, Pace, I need help raising capital. I go, well, Virginia, I've already helped you. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, I created a community where we have 21 support calls every single week of live content where we can all hang out with each other, and I never see you on any of them. She's like, well, yeah, because I've already taken the course. I've learned all I'm like, that's not how you build a business. You build a business by building a network. The information's great and it's priceless, but really the community and having access to people have money. And I told Virginia, I said, 2 days ago on a Zoom, we did a poll. We had about 250 students in a Zoom. And I said, hey guys, how much money does everybody have right now that they could just freely invest into a deal? And we counted up between $5 to $7 million in cash just in one of our Zooms. So raising capital and getting your hands on partners that come in and make your deals work is another superpower that you have as a SubTo community member. But if you have a question about your avatar, don't forget that you have all these amazing students, that your first goal in SubTo is to choose your avatar. Your next goal in SubTo is to go and make 50 friends. It used to be 25 and people said that was too easy. So we've upgraded it to 50 friends. You should have 50 people in your first couple of months that you can name by their first name. Some of them are going to be in here for a year. We have students that have been in here for 2 years that are coming in here all the time and helping people out. Definitely make sure that part of your 50 friend group is a group of people that have been in here for a year or 2 years. They understand the culture and they understand where to find things and what all is available. And then take a good portion of those people, 30, 35 of those people, and let them be brand new people just like you, because you will create a close click inside of SubTo that you guys will accelerate and grow together as you keep each other accountable. Find other avatars that are like you. Spend time with them. Ask what they're doing to elevate their avatar. Ask what they're doing to generate leads in their business. Okay. Jay-Z says, I feel like when I meet people in SubTo, for the most part, I'm meeting actual new friends. And that is what's special. This is not a cold-hearted mentorship. I've joined a lot of cold-hearted mentorships where there's just a Facebook group and there's not really any real community. That is not what you joined here. This is something special. I drew it all out on a whiteboard years ago. And right now, I've told this story multiple times. I know I've got multiple avatars to go through, and I've gone through 3 avatars in 1 hour. I have 16 more avatars to go through. So I got to be really quick. 3 years ago, before we started this mentorship, I had a 26-foot whiteboard, and I took each section of that whiteboard and divided it into a 1 foot increment, 26 feet long. And each phase of this mentorship is 1 foot of that whiteboard. And I would write out, here's what we do. We're going to start here, and this is going to happen. And then what's going to happen is we're going to have leaders in the group, and those leaders are going to do this, and then this, and this, and this, and then phase 3 is this, and blah, 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 blah. And I tell people all the time that the phase that we are currently in right now is phase 5 of a 26 phase community. We're not even close to how powerful this group is going to be. So you can choose to either be a part of it or just be a member of it and sit in the back seat. I would love for everybody to sit in the front seat and actively participate. And the fastest way to do that is to choose your avatar and go make 50 friends as fast as possible and let those people be your real friends. And when a new person comes into SubTo and they introduce themselves as a new student, you don't look at them as another new student. You look at that person as, ooh, that's a potential private money lender. Oh, that's a potential business partner. That's a potential, in Munif's situation, that's a potential spouse. You know, there's people in here that are legitimately meeting their husbands and wives in this group. That's a JV partner, somebody I can JV with. That's an accountability partner. That's somebody that I can hire, right? Somebody like me, I've hired multiple people from the SubTo mentorship that now work for me, right? Caroline works for me. She runs the Daily Dial. She works for me. I was like, you're special. I want to hire you. Okay. Kelly Hanno, you're special. I want to hire you, right? I have personally hired employees from the SubTo mentorship. This has been absolutely fantastic. Also, they can be deal flow to you. Who in the side chat right now, I know we have a couple hundred students in here live right now. How many people in here have done deals with each other? And there's probably a good 300 or 400 students in here. Look at the chat fill up right now. Me, I have, me, yes, sir, yes, we have, yes. All of those things. This group is powerful. We do a lot of deals together. The longer you stay in this group, the more deals you'll do in this group. That's it. This is not a group that you come in and just learn a couple of things in some lame video modules. This is a place where we actually do dozens and dozens and dozens of deals together each month. In fact, it's gotten to a point, people ask me, if all this stuff is so powerful, why teach it to everybody else? Why not just keep the information to yourself? Guys, just logically speaking alone, if I didn't love community, I didn't love the people in SubTo, and I didn't love doing this, logically speaking alone, it would make a lot of sense for me to teach everybody how to do this and then bring those deals to me. I'm at a point now where about 50% of my deals, by the end of the year, 50% of the deals, I will be on track that 50% of the deals I buy and touch are actually coming from this community. Some people like Munif and maybe Sam Singh and other people in here, Carolyn and Myron, 100% of their deals are coming from this community. So it depends on your avatar, your personality, your situation. What are you focusing on? But no matter what, make sure your first piece of homework is choosing your avatar, which I'll get back to. And 2, you go and make 50 friends. How do I make 50 friends? How do I physically do that? Well, you come into our Zooms, one of our many, many Zooms we do every week. I usually do 3 to 4 Zooms myself every week. One is typically a Q&A. The other 2 or 3 that I do are bonuses. And those are random topics that I want to talk about because of things that are going on in my business, like how to raise capital for a $5 million fund, how to talk to a securities attorney. And I bring in a securities attorney, how to build your corporation, because I'm maybe changing or evolving my corporation structure. Whatever it is, those Zooms are one of the greatest places to come in and the side chat on the Zoom, talk about who you are, your avatar, and then offline start texting people and becoming friends. Okay. Caitlin says the same thing. She says, I use the Zooms to make new friends, get numbers, and then talk to them on the phone. I want to get to know you all. Okay. Provide value by being active. You don't need to come into the Zooms and ask questions. You need to come into the Zoom and hang out. Let's hang out. This is why most of our Zooms are going to have between 200 and 700 students at any given time, depending on the time of the week. Because people come in and they understand that's where you raise money. That's where you make new friends. That's where you get to know each other's personalities. Okay. That's where you come in and start introducing yourself, even if you're shy. Now, another piece of homework for people who are leaders, that's one of the avatars I'll get to in a little bit. If you see somebody that comes into the Facebook group, it's your job as a leader This is actually a lead generation tactic for you. Is when somebody comes into the Facebook group as a new SubTo student, they go, "Hi, I'm new, I'm blah, blah, blah." Your job is to say, "Hey, I've been in SubTo for 4 months, would love to chat with you, and I'll help you choose which avatar based on experience I've seen other people, because I've been in the Zooms, I see people's success stories, all of that stuff." That's what leaders do. Okay, leaders go in and they grab a hold of people and they lead them through the fire. Don't let people be shy. People that are, maybe more like me, an extrovert, our job is actually to grab the hands of the introverts and pull them through the fire. That's our job. Okay. Travis says, I'm working on getting into more of the live Zooms. I need to do better. Okay. We all need to do better. But I would choose at least one a week that you come in and you just hang out. It's a hangout session. I wouldn't look at it like you need to come in there and learn anything. Yeah, of course. Like we did a 6-hour Zoom the other night where I just talked about creative finance, and it was tremendous and powerful and all these great things, calling sellers and doing all the things that you guys want to see me do. But the most powerful thing is me watching the chat and the live and you guys becoming friends and lending money to each other and raising money from each other and forming partnerships and doing deals together and all of these types of things. And then I see on Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff that you guys are going out and doing deals together and buying properties together and magnificently building your futures together. That's the powerful part about being part of the Zoom. Don't let them overwhelm you. Just come in and hang out and go, "Oh, I don't know that person. Oh, I don't know that person. Oh, I don't know that person." Why? Why don't you know those people? Because you're not understanding that SubTo is the greatest community ever, and you should know as many of the students as possible. Okay? Love it. Sam Singh says, I met my podcast co-host in SubTo, and that's opening tons of doors. That's Sam Singh saying that about Logan Manzanares, who actually has become a close friend of mine. Logan is also a SubTo student and a mastermind student that says, Pace, I've been in every mentorship you can imagine, and by far, SubTo is the greatest of them all. And it's because of the community aspect. I can come in and I'm actually connected. So choose your avatar. Step 1, commit to it to 60 days. Step 2, go make 50 friends as fast as possible. Out of those 50 friends, you're going to find people doing deals, people that are new, just like you, people that are private money lenders, people that are future business partners. And like Sam Singh says, okay, Sam Singh says, they're my podcast co-hosts, right? Creating content together and doing all sorts of things. Also, Sam is saying Daryl Ellison, if anybody doesn't know who that is, another leader in the group. Daryl is literally living in Logan's RV. Where is that? Is that in Mesa, right by my house? Anyway, so step 1, choose your avatar. Step 2, make 50 friends. So let's get into the next avatar. Somebody watching this in the future is like, man, I get it. Community, I get it. And then in 2 weeks, when they actually take action, they'll go, oh, I didn't get it. I did not understand how powerful the community was. Oh my gosh, this is it. All right, so let's get back into it. So we've covered direct to seller visionary. We've covered direct to seller integrator. We've covered direct to seller agent. This one I'll be a lot faster on. Direct to referral partner. So what is a referral partner? I've done a series on probate attorneys where you get people who inherit houses, right? Somebody dies in their family and they inherit a house and they become a seller that's like, I don't want this house that I just inherited. So what they do is they go to a probate attorney or they go to a financial advisor. Okay. I probably every year I make, I don't know, $500,000 from probate attorneys referring deals to me. And if you want to learn more how to do this, I actually have probate Zooms on. I actually brought in Rylis Dana, one of my probate attorneys in here. And we did a whole series on exactly how to build a business all around direct to referral partner. Okay. Again, people are asking all the time, how do I get started in real estate? I've already answered 4 ways to get started in real estate, right? There you go. These avatars, direct to seller, direct to integrate, or direct to seller integrator, direct to seller agent. I'm sorry, direct to agent, direct to referral partner. Now, here's one that's a little bit more advanced. Okay, that this is not really how to get started in real estate. This one's a little bit more advanced, is called a closer. And it's advanced because you can't really become a closer until you've closed deals, right? And if you want to learn how to become a closer, what you need to do is you need to go to our daily dial calls, right? We have role playing every single morning, Monday through Friday for 4 hours, SubTo students only. We have the nightly dial with leaders like Dan Quijano and other badasses in SubTo. Again, 3 to 4 hours. We are doing 7 hours of live support Zooms every single day, trying to teach you guys how to become better closers. In fact, if you guys go back to the Closers Olympics, this will be a really great example. We had Munif Saza, who joined the mentorship last summer, and he DM'd me and he said, hey, what's different about your mentorship versus other mentorships? I was like, first and foremost, here's a better question. What is not different? That's a better question. Because like, how much time do you have? What is not different? He's like, oh, okay, I get it. But can you give me an example? I go, yeah, actually, we have this thing called the daily dial that every morning for 4 hours, leaders in our group all role play about a specific objective or issue that they're running into with a seller that they're talking to or an agent that they're talking to. And we collectively come up with rebuttals, phrases, and sales strategies to overcome those issues. And he's like, done, I'm sold. I don't even care about anything else. And I didn't learn until months later that it was because Munif had joined several other mentorships. He actually put a second position mortgage on one of his houses, on his primary residence, for $60,000. Took out a line of credit so that he could join these other mentorships and not actually go and get a deal. Okay, he learned how to generate leads and all this kind of stuff, spent all this money, did all these things, but he never learned how to actually close a deal, right? We teach our students how to close a deal. This is why our students from last year all the way until the end of it will dominate the Closers Olympics in the wholesale industry. We will always have contestants in there coming up through. My students are competing with other major industry leaders in the biggest competition of closers in our industry. And it's because of the daily dial and the nightly dial. So Munif comes in, he joins the daily dial, takes action, and he goes on a role-playing phone call on the daily dial, right? Monday through Friday, we do this every single week. He takes a fake phone call where he's role-playing with another student. He's the buyer, the other student's the seller. Role play, right? Getting over your fears and getting the words out of your mouth. Powerful, worth millions and millions of dollars of value. And he hangs up on the phone because it stressed him out so much that he hung up on a fake phone call. Well, very short time frame. He kept with it. A couple of weeks later, got his first deal. Okay. A couple of days later, got another deal, got another deal, got another deal. Munif now has built an entire business where all he does is close deals for other students. So that would be a closer. For me, if I had to start all over and I need to get a deal today and you drop me in Kansas or Timbuktu or Paris, France, wherever it is, I would just reach out to wholesalers and go, how can I help you close your leads? I would just close people's deals by communicating and articulating what I know as a salesperson. And I would underwrite the deal, figure out if this is a wholesale deal, a fix and flip, or a buy and hold. And then I would go and convert that seller lead into a contract and then monetize on it in one day. So a closer is a little bit more of an advanced avatar that you can become. Now, if you're coming into the mentorship and you already are a great salesperson and you want to skip the line and you think, man, I can be awesome. Well, the way you learn how to be a closer, I'm going to say this for a third time, just in case you sneezed to the first two times. Go into the daily dial, go into the nightly dial. And then also, as you practice and you get the words going, start working with other students, because I had already told you to choose an avatar and make 50 friends. You should have people that you can practice on their leads, maybe their dead leads, and start working on those, reviving them and becoming a closer. Okay. Derek Barton says, oh, is that when are the actual Olympics? It's usually in the end of the year. So they should be doing it again this year. Okay. That is an avatar by itself. I probably spent too much time on that already because it's a very simple avatar. But I want you to know, if you're brand new, if you've never closed a deal before, well, probably should not go and focus your time and energy on becoming a closer. But the great thing is that if you already are pretty good and you don't have money, by the way, guess how much this costs? It's free. Free lead generation. Other students are your lead generation, right? Here's your other lead generation right here. People that are generating leads from direct to seller, direct to agent, direct to referral partner. Those are your people. Okay. Also, this is one of my favorite methods of all time. This used to be called the PACE method. Okay. Why did I change the name? I changed the name because there's this amazing human being named Uncle Lonza, is what I call him. He was like student number 10. He's in the group. He's a big leader. He's like the 10th student that ever joined SubTo 2.5, 3 years ago. Okay. And he came to me, he goes, Pace, I have already spent so much money on other mentorships in the past and I have not seen any traction. What would you advise I do? And I go, well, here's the powerful thing about creative finance. Subject to seller finance, novation agreements, wraps, lease options, all these powerful things, Morby methods. Most wholesalers and real estate agents don't actually know what they are. And so what they're doing is they're throwing away a lot of their leads. So in the direct to seller model, if you guys want to go back into the previous Zooms that I've done in Avatar Zoom 1, 2, and 3, I talk a lot about the KPIs, okay, right here. KPI would be a key performance indicator. Okay. Key performance indicator means it's how we track things. Okay. It's how we indicate whether our business is performing or not. So a good key performance indicator would be how many leads do I need to generate to get one contract, right? That would be a great KPI. So if you guys want to go learn those KPIs, go watch Avatar 1, 2, and 3. This is actually Avatar part 4, high level. I'm not going to deep dive into it. So you can go learn that. What happens is the Lonza method goes to the people that have basically been throwing away these 50 leads. They go generate 50 leads, they get one contract. So essentially you're getting the Lonza method that gets the other 49 leads from wholesalers and real estate agents and converts those leads by either A, being a better negotiator to a cash deal, or B, getting a creative deal. And this is what I've been doing for several years. This is my favorite strategy. If I was never going to build a team and automate this business, I would focus my time and energy right here on the Lonza method. I call it the Lonza method because Lonza came into the mentorship again as the 10th student, immediately took action. He came and said, man, I spent all this money, did all this stuff, never really saw a lot of traction. I've done a couple of deals. And I said, you need to focus on the PACE method, which is generating old dead leads from wholesalers, real estate agents, et cetera, and applying creative finance principles to those 49 other leads and converting those, another 1 to 3 of those into actual contracts. And Lonza now in 2.5 years has made millions of dollars, literally generated millions of dollars in profits from just focusing on the Lonza method. Now, if you want to go and focus on the Lonza method, guess what? Surprise, surprise. We have a resource for that. Okay. Each one of these, by the way, this is what's funny, is like 0 to hero, right? The Scorch method, right? The probate series, the daily dial, the nightly dial, all these things in our mentorship. This is why we have the highest success rate in the industry, is because we have individual training on every individual avatar. And the Lonza method, we have done actually 12 Zooms on this exact strategy. So go into, again, SubToCourse.com, and you can go and watch exactly start to finish, A to Z, how to build an entire business utilizing what used to be called the PACE method has now been changed to the Lonza method because Uncle Lonza is such a massive value provider to this community. And his wife, Anne, if you guys know them. Now, the next avatar is the unicorn agent. Okay. Unicorn agent is my wife. Okay. My wife is currently building a little series for all SubTo students where she's going to teach you guys how to go and build a business by becoming a unicorn agent. Okay. This will be a series inside where? Guys, where is this series going to be held? Got a good 200 students in here on a random day. I literally posted this 5 minutes before I started, and we got 200 students in here. No, Brian Catalan, that would never be an air meet. I will never host a training in air meet for my students. Okay. My wife will be doing a series on this. If you want to become an agent and get your license and be underneath my wife as on her brokerage, okay, or if you already are an existing agent, then please go to joinlauramorby.com. I think that'll be ready tomorrow. Joinlauramorby.com. And you can actually join her. If you're a SubTo student, it's completely free to you. She does additional training every week on how to go get started in real estate, not by being an agent. Okay, Travis says, what if I'm already with EXP? If you are a SubTo student, I will let you in her trainings, okay? But I prefer you. Actually, no, I won't. I'm sorry. My wife doesn't get paid to be in this mentorship. And so you would need to switch over to her EXP team somehow, some way in order for you to get access to that. I don't want to just offer her stuff and have her train and all that kind of stuff. People, your EXP team, the challenge with most EXP teams is they don't have high level people doing really good training. So here's what my wife, she's under a team. She has Tarek Al Musa right above Elena Cardone, right above my wife. And so what happens is you've got Tarek Al Musa's training, you've got Elena Cardone's training in proximity to her. They do weekly trainings. You get to hang out with Elena Cardone, you get to be on her team, and then you're on my wife's team. You get access to all of these trainings and access to all of these people. And so if you're on another team, question is why not just join my wife's? So if you are trying to be an agent, but you want to work with real estate investors and also be in the real estate investor world, that is what we call a unicorn agent. Somebody who understands subject to, somebody who understands seller finance, somebody who understands novation agreements, wraps, et cetera. And you bring that to your clientele as a unicorn agent, a 1 in a million, stand out, right? If you had a field of all these horses and there was one unicorn, would it be pretty easy to spot out the unicorn? Yeah, it would. And so in the sea of real estate agents that's out there, what makes you special? Well, what makes you special is if you're on my wife's team who understands transaction coordination and SubTo, seller finance deals, raising capital, wraps, lease out, all the things. My wife will teach you all of those things, stopping foreclosures, negotiating with auction houses, all of that stuff you will learn if you go to joinlauramorby.com. And if you are a SubTo student, she wants you on her team. So join her team. Okay. No, website's going to be finished today. So just write it down and tomorrow you guys will be able to get on there. Okay. A lot of people asking questions about that. Yes. And it's great. She's already doing the training. So if the website for some reason is not working tomorrow, you guys can email my wife. Let me give you her email here real quick. If you guys want to join her team. Peggy Stevens says, I loved her Zoom last Saturday on pre-foreclosures. What about non-agents? So Carlos, this is a great question. Why would you want to learn how to be a unicorn agent if you are not an agent, right? That's a better question. Carlos says, good point. I love it. If I'm in SubTo, but my fiance is not, can she still join? Absolutely. What are you talking about? SubTo or my wife's brokerage? Yes, absolutely. My wife wants as many agents to join her as possible. She'll teach them how to become a unicorn agent. Okay. Let me give you her email address. If you guys for some reason if the website's not up tomorrow and you're like, I want to join, I want to switch over. Here is her email. It is lauramorby@icloud.com. lauramorby@icloud.com. So I'm getting a good amount of questions on this. I like this. KT says, only agents? My question is, why would you want to learn from my wife on how to become a unicorn agent if you are not wanting to be an agent? Does that make sense? Oh, yeah. So You want to learn how to be that? My wife will be giving training constantly in the transaction coordination training as that avatar, but the avatar of becoming a unicorn agent. You know who else is a unicorn agent? Is Monique Walker, an agent that does a lot of deals with Jamil. That's a unicorn agent. So that's a great, and she probably makes $1 million to $1.5 million a year being a unicorn agent. My wife is a mother of 3 children. Probably sometime next year we'll get pregnant again, and my wife will be on to our 4th child. We'll be on to our 4th child sometime next year. And my wife will manage that. She'll manage being married to me and traveling all over the world and being on a TV show. And she'll probably make $250 to $350 next year, just working 3-4 hours a week as a unicorn agent. So it's a great avatar to follow. And my wife will come in sporadically through SubTo and kind of help you guys out. She'll build a little series for you. But if you want live training with my wife for free, she'll do that for SubTo students that want to actually become agents. Go to joinlauramorby.com or email her, lauramorby@icloud.com. Cool. What is the best benefit of being a unicorn agent? Great question, Stephanie. Again, let's ask this question. In the sea of agents, there's over 50,000 agents just in Maricopa County, and a very few of them actually understand how to get listings, right? They're going to their friends, their family members, their uncles, their cousins. They're going on Facebook and they're begging people for listings. A unicorn agent is that you never beg for listings. You actually have strategies and you have intelligence on how listings come to you. Also, because you have elevated training, you understand creative finance, you understand transaction coordination, you understand foreclosures, you understand short sales, you have an elevated level of value to provide to clients. And so a unicorn agent is an agent that understands real estate. Whereas, I'm sorry if you're a real estate agent and you're going to be offended by this, but most real estate agents actually don't understand real estate that much. They understand how to show a house to a buyer and list a house. Guys, that's not real estate. That's retail. That's buying and selling houses to homeowners. Real estate in the world that we are, where wealth is created, is real estate investing. And unicorn agents actually understand real estate investing because they are investing in real estate themselves. They understand rentals. They understand Airbnbs. They understand these things, but they have an elevated amount of training and they're licensed. Does that answer that question for everybody? Sam Singh says, in most cases, they are not even trained to comp. Cool. Cheryl, great question. Everybody, great question. So unicorn agent is another avatar. All right. So let's go back to this. Another avatar is transaction coordinator. This is one of the ones that I'm so excited about. We have already done 10 of these trainings. And for as long as SubTo exists, we have a series on a live training, 2 hours every Saturday. For as long as SubTo exists, we will train you on how to become a transaction coordinator. Guys, you can join Laura's, a couple questions coming in. Anybody that wants to become an agent or is an agent can join Laura's team with EXP, who is Tarek El Musa, Elena Cardone, and my wife, all in the same team. You can join my wife at joinlauramorby.com or email her at lauramorby@icloud.com and say, how do I join? You can be an agent anywhere. In fact, you can be outside of the country. You can be in Canada, you could be in Mexico, and I think there's like 47 other countries that you can be an EXP agent virtually here in America. You can be an agent with my wife anywhere in the country. Okay? Are we good? Everybody good with that? We can move on to the next series, avatar. Give me a yes. Cool. Very good questions. So this is one that I am so excited about because so many people ask this question. Really, really common question we get is, you guys will hear this all the time. How do I get my spouse to support me? Right? A lot of men in this business say, how do I get my wife to support me? How do I get my girlfriend to support me? Or how do I get my spouse to get involved? Well, we've solved that for you. Nathaniel says, is the transaction coordinator Zoom only good for people looking to become a TC, or should I direct to seller check that out still? Here's what's great about the TC series that we're doing. Literally, guys, I don't have the words in my brain to articulate this properly. It truly is one of the most powerful things that I have ever created in my life is the transaction coordination training. Why? Is because not only does it help your wife, your spouse, or somebody on your team that just has a better personality to do transaction coordinating, but it also teaches you what the paperwork looks like. So we started out 10 weeks ago and we show you what the paperwork looks like. We go through the Zoom, show you how to fill it all out. So when people say stuff like, well, Pace, how do I fill out a SubTo contract? Pace, how do I fill out a seller finance contract? Hey, Pace, how do I work with this? And how do I do a novation? And how do I do the paperwork? Transaction coordination series, we will have a library of all the different types of transactions that are going on. You can go click on a video and go, oh, a novation agreement with a foreclosure that had to have a loan modification. Perfect. What does that paperwork look like? Oh, a subject to deal that has an FHA loan that needs to be fixed and flipped very quickly. Perfect. Click on that. Watch the series. So if you guys like value there's not a word on this earth that can tell you how valuable that is. It doesn't exist. And so when people ask, why should I join SubTo? Like, I'm befuddled of like, why would I even be interfaced with that question? I'm not even halfway through the avatars, and I've given 200 times more value than any other mentorship you'll ever join will ever do. Nobody's going to teach your wife 2 hours every Saturday. 2 hours every Saturday. We are going to teach your wife, your spouse, your significant other, or even people on your team. Imagine if I'm direct to seller and I want to bring a transaction coordinator full-time on my team. How do I train that transaction coordinator on how to handle SubTo, seller finance, novation agreements, wraps, lease options, raising capital, how to create a note and deed of trust? How do I train them on that? Well, come in every Saturday, 2 hours every Saturday. We'll not only have a series in a library, we'll have all the paperwork, we have all the things. We've already done 10 series at 2 hours. There's 20 hours. 20 hours that's segmented, organized, filtered out, and then we are now we're going to add a second one. Okay, pay attention to this. We are going to be adding a second Zoom per week inside of SubTo that specifically talks about my transactions that my team is actively running. And we're going to just do one transaction at a time. Like right now, I probably have a total of $20 million in real estate that's currently in my pipeline under contract. Don't you guys think that would be beneficial for Allison Gustafson and Molly on my team to show you transactions I'm in the middle of? By the way, very few of them are cash deals. Most of them are creative finance deals. Okay. So you want to become a transaction coordinator? The great thing, what I would do is I would go start with the transaction coordination series, because I actually broke down in series number 1 what a transaction coordinator does, how much money they charge, how much money they can make, who can do it, why they should be doing, what kind of personality, etc. So transaction coordinator, when I hear somebody shouting from the rooftops of here's how to get started in real estate, cold call, text, direct mail, PPC, SEO, websites, billboards, TV, radio, commercial, all the things, there are personality types that will never, I'm going to say this really strongly, there are personality types that will never be successful in real estate if they have to go direct to seller. If you're one of those people, put your name in the side chat and say, me, I'm one of those people. Jesse Steffen says, I would fill out forms all day. Randy says, that's me. Samantha says, me. Jamie says, me. Frank says, me. Man, my wife and I had some strong conversations about this. Well, there you go, Matt Odell. Carolyn says, not me. Okay, Carolyn says, not me. So do you guys see how important the Avatar series is? Nobody's done this in real estate. Nobody has ever done this in real estate and said, do you want to get started in real estate? Know thyself, and here's a path. Okay? I would be a very poor transaction coordinator. However, I have people like Allison Gustafson who just fill the gaps and make my business work. Do we all agree that this is the way to go, is to choose your avatar and commit to that path? Jonathan says, are your transaction coordinating trainees able to underwrite for the Eric Sage 2 note solution? Jonathan, you don't want to go down that road. It's a waste of your time. That's like, here's the thing about that strategy of the Eric Sage strategy. I love Eric Sage, one of my best friends, but that's a solution for maybe 1 out of 200 creative finance transactions you're going to touch. It's less than 1% of the time you'll ever utilize that. It's a cool thing. It's nice to know it exists, but it's incredibly rare that you'll ever need that. So focus on the main things, okay? It's not only not beginner friendly, it's also not applicable to most of the things you'll ever do, okay? Cool. Is it, just curious, I think we've only gone through about, let's see, we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 avatars. We've got another essentially 11 to go. Who already knows what their avatar is through these 11? Tommy says, 2 days in, and this is already beneficial. Choose the avatar is the best advice, 100%. Travis Williams says, this guy. Travis, what's yours? Are you a unicorn agent? Or are you a closer? What do you think you are? You, Travis, just looking at you and knowing you, I would say that you will end up being 4, 5, or 6 of these avatars as you scale and grow. But what would you say you are right now? Unicorn agent. Love it. Freaking love it. I have a better idea of what avatar I am not. There you go. I like that. That's good. Sometimes knowing thyself is knowing what you are not. And then when you see a Zoom pop up about how to be a transaction coordinator inside your email, you know, oh, let me just delete that. And feel comfortable that you're not missing out on that, right? Sam Singh says, I need more unicorn agents to be friends with. Let's talk, Travis. There you go. Sam Singh is multiple of the avatars I'm going to go through here quickly. Sam, what would you say is your avatar right out of the gate? Closer, I would say for sure. I would say capital raiser, helper, connector, leader. There you go. Boom, got him. Okay, I already know his avatar. I know most people's avatar, knowing them in 2 minutes. Thomas Asbell says, still trying to figure out what I am. Guys, if you're an overthinker, who's an overthinker in here? Thomas Asbell, you better write me. You know what typically an overthinker is? Typically, not all the time, but you're a direct to seller integrator. KT says fear. Fear of what? Now that you know your avatar, what are you afraid of? You now know your right path. That's the first step in the battle, right? Cool. Thomas says he's an overthinker. So Thomas, why don't you focus on becoming a lead generator? Think about this. If Thomas literally just generated leads for other people and he learned how to go follow that, don't you think he could just have a dozen closers come in and just close the deals for him and he JVs with everybody? Like literally you don't have to be the person that gets on the phone with the sellers. That's the crazy thing about this. Raymond says, Pace, how do you feel about getting your license just to monetize on listings? I can tell you right now, I tell my wife to stay away from trying to get listings and trying to deal with buyers. She probably makes 150 grand a year doing that, but it takes so much more time and energy dealing with listings and buyers than it does just dealing with real estate investors and your own projects. But there's money in it. Yeah, actually, what's funny, Travis, my wife is at a meeting right now hiring 2 agents underneath her, 2 more to handle the leads that are coming in. She's like, I'm not going to do any more listings and buyer appointments because I can go and I spend 30 hours with one buyer to get a deal done and a commission check. Meanwhile, I spend an hour in finding a deal for Pace that I get 20% of his net and also the listing. And I 2 hours, literally 2 hours, and I make 3 times more money, right? There you go. Travis says, I won't turn away listings, but I must have buyer's agents. Yes, 100%. Cool. All right, cool. Let's go back to the avatars. Guys, is this nice? So we're just keeping this really basic? Cool. So transaction coordination is massively beneficial. Now, there's an elevated level of this. Okay, I want you guys to understand this. There's a good amount of people that will get to this level. Somebody like a Kiki Shrugs, an Angie Acosta. Okay, somebody who can do loan modifications, somebody who can do short sales. Okay, transaction engineers. Okay, Caleb Christopher is also a transaction engineer. He can look at a deal, dissect it, and you can rely on these people to understand deals at a pretty high level. And this is an avatar by itself. Okay. And what's great is, guess what Kiki did? Kiki went and built a 5-part series on exactly how to do this. And where can I find this? SubToCourse.com. Why would you go anywhere else? Do you guys know what it costs to go become a transaction coordinator? That would give you 2 hours of training every week for basically the rest of your life. Actually, it's been 2 hours a week. We're elevating it to 4 hours a week. The first 2 hours will be general. And then the other 2 hours, not 4 additional hours, but 4 hours total, that will be very specific transactions that I am working on that I want my team to tell the stories about. Okay. 1, you'll never find a transaction coordination training that will ever do this for you. 2, if you found the ones that are out there, they're typically about $2,500 and they're just a series of videos with no community and people doing actual transactions. 3, they're not teaching you any creative finance, which is critical. Okay. And 4, they're not talking about specific transactions in any live settings, right? All the transactions we will work on, and you will see that Molly and Allison Gustafson work on, will be specific transactions. Okay. My wife is a transaction engineer also. Kiki Shrugs, go and watch that. She has a great series in the SubTo course Vault. Okay. Okay. We'll move on from that one really quickly. Now, another one that a lot of people need to know is this one's a really good one too. This is free, is becoming a JV. Who would say that they're a JV? They do a JV model, which is astro flipping, micro flipping, or daisy chaining. Okay, a lot of people do this. And people use the word daisy chaining in a negative light. The only difference between daisy chaining and these other three, these three are exactly the same. The only thing with daisy chaining is that nobody knows that you're not the buyer. Okay. Daisy chainers typically are lying about who they are. Like they tell the other wholesaler. I have a deal right now in North Carolina. Right now, somebody sent it to me, and they go, "Hey, I got a deal." I go, "Great." This is literally happened this morning. He goes, "Hey, I got a deal." I go, "Amazing. That's so great. Tell me about it." And I go, "Oh, you're not. You don't have a deal. You have a wholesaler involved." He goes, "Yeah, I do. I have a wholesaler involved." And I go, "Okay, great." I go, "Is that wholesaler direct to seller?" He go, "No." I go, "Okay, so we got a wholesaler talking to a wholesaler talking to a wholesaler." Oh my gosh, what a mess, right? So daisy chaining is challenging because you don't know if the person bringing the deal has the actual deal or if they talk to somebody else that has the deal, and it's just this thing, right? So in micro flipping and astro flipping, which we teach in here as well, this is super amazing strategy. Okay. Daisy chaining, you're not communicating. I don't like that, but I'd like to bring daisy chaining back to a positive light and just say daisy chaining is fine as long as you communicate properly, but then it wouldn't be called daisy chaining. It would be called micro flipping, JV, and astro. Okay. We have a lot of students JVing with each other, helping each other find buyers all the time. Who in here has helped another student get a deal done by finding a buyer for them? Daryl Ellison right there, Carolyn and Myron. We're JVing with our mastermind family, John, Peggy Stevens, Brian Catalan, Marcus Tukes, Brad Romine, Tijuana. Okay. Angel. Dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of students are doing this strategy all the time with each other. So again, when you see a new SubTo student join the community, that is a future JV partner with you. You need to reach out and become friends with them. Okay. Understand their avatar and reach out to them when you need help. Like, oh my gosh, you're a transaction coordinator? Amazing. I got a problem. I need this, 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 and this. Can I hire you to help me with my transaction? Can I tell you guys something magical? I have never done a deal in my life. I've never done a real estate transaction in my life without a transaction coordinator. Never. I've never bought a deal directly from seller, got the paperwork myself, and handled the transaction ever myself. Never once. Jonathan Asbell, I love his overthinking and also sometimes underthinking. He says, why is there no avatar for a nurturer, the person who is responsible full-time for following up and communicating with targets about their potential deals that could not be closed immediately? That would be called a closer, or that would be called a helper, or that would be called somebody who works for somebody. We already have those avatars. There's actually 3 of them depending on who it is. The lead manager is an employee that works for someone else. We have that. That's actually the last avatar in the series. Okay. Or it could be a helper. If they're like, I don't want to be your employee, I just want to help you with your leads. That would be a helper, somebody that's helping other people in their business. There is an avatar for that. And when somebody says, well, what do you do to help? Oh, I just help. Ooh, Mina says, does a TC get a commission on a deal or a split? Great question. A TC, in a standard world, a TC gets paid a flat fee on a transaction, depending on the type of deal, $300 to $1,000, sometimes $2,000. But if you're a great TC and you run it as a good business, you can wedge yourself into the deals. You can gain ownership of the deals. You can get big chunks. You can help them find the buyer. Go watch the transaction coordination training. I promise you, your mind will be blown at how much money you can make in a TC world. If you don't look at it as, I only want to charge per file. Okay. This is why we created that whole mentorship within a mentorship. What's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? Inception. We have like 80 mentorships inside of SubTo, that each individual mentorship is more valuable than any other mentorship I've ever been in. Okay. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. All right. So, yes, helper, like a lead manager, depends on how that is. So Jonathan Asbell, let's talk about that for just a second, if you don't mind. I promised myself I wouldn't deviate too much. So let's just do it real quick. Jonathan, what up, bro?
Hey, Pace, how are you?
How you doing, handsome?
I'm doing good, handsome. How you doing?
I'm good. So in a lead manager role, let's walk through this, right? Because a lead manager could be one of 3 different avatars. It could be somebody who's closing. If I'm a closer, Jonathan, I don't ever want to do lead management, right? But there are different closers that are like, I'll manage and nurture your lead so I can be the closer. For me, that wouldn't be a good fit. So if that was a lead manager that was also closing the deals, then you would just call that person a closer. If you're somebody like a helper, I think a helper is probably the best category for that lead manager to be underneath as a non-employee. Okay. So if this lead manager you're talking about, the nurturer, I do like this because I'm always looking for other avatars that would be really specific that wouldn't be underneath an umbrella. I believe in my heart, I believe that nurturer falls underneath either helper or employee working for someone else, right? So helper would be, I'll follow up with your leads to help you get deals done, and I want a part of the deal. Or working for someone else would be like me. Somebody comes to me, like I've had multiple students come and work for me as lead managers, and I just pay them a commission on the deal. So it just kind of depends. In your mind, when you ask that question, which direction were you kind of leaning towards?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm thinking about it in a very different way, just based on also just understand that I'm a real estate agent for 12 years. So that's not my only business that I was in, but just I'm tainted by some of the dynamic of that. So what I think it is it's really a marketing position. It's really someone who knows what to send to who at the right time. So the right message, the right time, the right target, and you with all the different types of people that we're working with in different situations, it's super important to be able to kind of bucket that up and get the right communications going. So I've been actually, one thing that I thought that I would do to resolve that problem, which I haven't seen that avatar, and I don't see anyone ever talking about it, but is I'm trying to outsource that aspect to, it could be Pakistan, but I mean, not Pakistan, Philippines, but I think Colombia, that country has a really rich group of very intelligent people who can do this, who can do a little bit more than what their tunnel is, who can kind of look at things the way they're supposed to be looked at, as far as this is this type of person. Anyway, that's the idea.
Yeah, there's a company that does that. They're in Costa Rica. So it's like expatriates that were Americans that moved down to Costa Rica. And, they charge $22, $23 an hour, and they do full lead management and closing, right? So it's like $23 an hour that they're lead managing, plus if they get a deal, they get a portion of the commission. So you could outsource to them, but in my mind, that's either a closer, somebody who's closing deals for you, or it's a helper, somebody that comes in and goes, let me help you with your business. Like if I'm brand new and I just want to get my hands dirty, I'd say, let me follow up with your leads. I don't even care if I close a deal. Let me just nurture and love on your leads and follow up with them and organize them and all that kind of stuff.
Or it's full time.
It's full time. It is. And then also we have a lot of students, right? Mastermind students and leaders that have been in the program a long time that will say, hey, I'm scaling my business. I'm going from being a solopreneur to an entrepreneur. Now I have space in my business to hire lead managers. Who inside of the mentorship wants to come and work for me as a lead manager? Well, again, the nurturing, following up, kind of thinking about it in more of a 3D aspect versus like a Filipino is going to look at it like check the box, move on, check the box,
right?
Move on.
Exactly.
Right? That would be working for someone else as maybe somebody that already understands these things and do that temporarily. Like, good story for this. Munif, as he started scaling, he goes, oh, this is genius. I can just go to brand new students inside of SubTo, give them a place to plug in, which is my business, and give them the opportunity to close their first deal by following up and nurturing my leads. And so we had like, I don't know, a handful of students that came in with Munif that were like, I've been trying to get into real estate and get my first deal for 3 years, but I didn't realize that I could just be a nurturing lead follow-up person for somebody else in the mentorship. And I actually got my first wholesale check because of it. But at the end of the day, that is still working for someone else. And that's it. Even if you outsourced it to an expat in Costa Rica, they are working for you, right? They are now an employee that you outsource things to.
It's funny that you mentioned it, because I'm going to upload this if it'll let me. This is the outline of my kind of, you're all welcome to see it, the outline of my approach toward how I'm going to be doing the investments. And what you'll see is there's a piece there for SubTo students where they are researching, skipping data, calling, analyzing and stuff. So it's a revolving door. And that's a good way to kind of find partners and how to find people to work with and all kinds of things. What's also interesting there is you'll see the Colombian back office team. And so what they're doing is, you and I were in Spanish speaking markets. So it's super important. And a lot of the people that are coming from that country, they're just super educated. You get someone for the Filipino price, but you get a PhD. I mean, and they're really a PhD, not an American PhD. And what I'm doing is I'm giving them 2 books to read, which are 2 really famous marketing books. To even work with me, they must read both books because they have to have their head aligned to who they're going to communicate with. Otherwise, you're going to get these lead generating type, these lead nurturing types that are going to hammer people, say the wrong thing, lose deals. I mean, you've got to have that perspective. And that's why I'm separating this avatar out, because it's very much a marketing role. It's very much someone conscious of how someone feels, what they want, what they don't want, what they fear, what they don't, what they're interested in. And I've been struggling with it.
I look at you, Jonathan, and you ask some of the most intelligent questions in the mentorship. You are a guy who thinks differently than I do, right? I'm a kind of guy that probably shoots first, and then I don't even aim later. I just shoot. What's that phrase they say? Shoot first, aim later. That type of thing. I shoot first, and I go, wait, we were supposed to aim? Oh, I just shoot. I go get it done. Even today, my wife was like, hey, you brought this thing up one time, and then the next day it's literally getting done. Like, we didn't have a conversation about it. I go, yeah, we did. I brought it up as an idea and it got done. Like, I don't wait for anything.
Absolutely.
And so the way I have the ability to do that is I have a guy like you, Jonathan Asbell, that runs the back end of my business. Have you ever thought about being an integrator for a much larger company?
I mean, hey, Pace, I think I told you once before, I detest it. I hate it. I'm a people person. I love to talk to people.
Okay.
I like to know how to organize it. So
Okay.
I can end up, when you're at the level where I'm 3 months into the SubTo membership, and I'm just kind of getting my bearings together at this point.
Yeah.
You're the integrator and you're the visionary. What are you going to do?
You're right. You're right. I've had a whole couple of Zooms on that. I call it hugging toilets. You do everything you possibly can in the very beginning until you start making money, right?
Yeah. I'm transitioning from real estate into pure investing. So I'm kind of a unicorn agent in that way, but I don't really, that whole agent part, it's great when that's their decision. Otherwise, I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah, that's a unicorn agent. That's somebody that's like, look, I want to be a real estate investor and utilize being an agent as an elevated success, benefit, but I'm not trying to be an agent, right?
Right.
So, anyway, I think like my wife showing you what she does, and I'll click on your thing and I'll download it and see what your game plan is. But anyway, I don't want to deviate too much from the avatar stuff, but that was good. The following up and nurturing leads avatar there's 3 of them, depending on how you structure it. You're either closing deals for people, which for me as a closer, when people come to me and they go, hey, Pace, will you close my deal? How many times have you guys heard me on thousands of calls with sellers for you guys? I say, hey, guys, I'll call your sellers, but don't rely on me for one thing. What's the thing I always say don't rely on me for?
Transaction coordinating, brother.
Well, that too. But what I always tell people don't rely on me for, what's the thing I tell you not to rely on me for? Follow up. Because I'm so good on the phone that your sellers fall in love with me. I even had one of our students go, hey, Pace, my seller now won't talk to me without you on the phone. I'm like, gosh, dang it. Like I create such good rapport. I get I show credibility, confidence, all that kind of stuff. The seller then goes, oh my gosh, I feel confident with this person immediately. Right. And I always tell people, if you want me to call your sellers and close your deals, never rely on me for follow-up.
But can you see therefore why it's so important, especially with an operation as growing and
but that's why there's 2 other avatars, right? There's the avatar of somebody who's a helper. There are people that will do nothing but follow up and close that enjoy doing that, and they help run your business. Then there's people that you can hire. Like Jonathan, if you need somebody in your business to follow up with your leads right now and you don't have the money to pay them, there are dozens of SubTo students right now that would go, Jonathan, if you have leads, let me follow up with them and nurture them for free.
Not even for free. I'm happy to work with them.
No. I mean, I'm saying not salaried. They would get paid a commission, right? Or a percentage of the deal. Mm-hmm. That is that avatar, the avatar of come work for me. I have leads. I have a system that you can plug into. And brand new students that are like, I need somebody that keeps me accountable every day. They need a Jonathan. And so that is the final avatar that we'll go over today, is working for someone else. And what does that look like, right? So when you're saying, well, what about their nurturing of leads? Get students that will come in, like Abel says, I'll do it.
So here's the difference between what we're talking about here, and I want to make sure that I leave
Jonathan, are you going to keep deviating me or let me finish?
No, I don't want to deviate you. I don't want to deviate, but I want to conclude it.
Okay.
The conclusion is that this is a marketing role. It needs marketing training. They've got to have that marketing piece. Otherwise, I don't care what you call it or what avatar it is. That is the key piece that's missing.
How does that pertain to what we just talked about?
Because we never said whether these lead people or whatever have to actually know how to copyright, know how to know how to bucket people, know anything about direct marketing or segmented marketing. They've just got to know those things.
Are you working in the investment world and you're doing email marketing and keeping people nurtured through like newsletters? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I'm just thinking about, you got to know the person and what their problem is and what their hopes are. And it's got to fall into a bucket. You got to segment it. That's how the world works in marketing. And people have to be conscious of
course.
what those are. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Anytime I talk to a seller as a lead manager, right? I was a lead manager in my own business for a long time. I would ask the seller, when should I follow up? What's your situation? What's your story? When are you planning on this? I would basically create a customer profile. And based on that customer profile, I would then put my follow-up sequence that is very specific to that one seller. Every seller had their own very specific follow-up sequence that catered to that marketing approach, right?
Right.
No, not to deviate from what you're saying, but it's all inclusive in my mind.
Okay.
In your mind, you think that those are two different. You think that it's just somebody pounding the phone, just calling anybody.
That's the way business has been. People don't even
get
trained in marketing.
We know exactly what day, and what happens is it overlays. So like today, my team will talk to probably 20, 30 sellers that are brand new leads. And what they'll do is they'll talk to those people and they'll say, okay, it's a no today, but we're going to put a follow-up for 3 months out, right? It's a no today, but we'll do a follow-up. The seller says, call me in 30 days. Great. So we'll do a follow-up in 20 days. And then what happens is those start stacking up that at some point in 30 days, 90 days, whatever, they have 40 follow-ups that were very specifically put to that day. And there's a reason for that. And then the notes say why they're following up 90 days later. Hey, Tom, you said that you were going through a such and such. How's that going? Right? That's lead management 101.
I get it. I get what you're saying. I don't want to deviate you, but that was the idea. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. So but that's the thing for you, Jonathan, in your business as an individual, you've got to sit down with somebody and say, because I can tell you, Jonathan, a lot of people there's so many thousands of different ways to fail in life and business and all that kind of stuff. One of the many, many ways is to go, oh, I'm just going to hire a lead manager and expect that it's just a cookie cutter approach. One, it shouldn't be a cookie cutter approach. Two, it should be a Jonathan approach that you specifically cater to what you're trying to accomplish. And so no matter who you outsource to, the Costa Rica people, the people in Pakistan, Filipinos, or even a SubTo student, you have to have your SOPs, right? Standard operating procedures written out and say, this is how I want my leads segmented and why. And these are the questions that lead into segmenting them into these individual buckets. And when you reach out to that bucket, this is what I want you to say. I can tell you there's not a single business in the world that will ever mirror exactly what you want your buckets to say, because you have your own personality and your own culture that you have to invest in and instill into your business. So yes, lead management, nurturing, all that kind of stuff. In my mind, it's all inclusive. It just has to be catered and tailored to your specific business depending on who you hire.
Awesome. Thanks.
But good thing to bring up, because it really does. I love how Angel asked me this question. Pace which is not remotely close to an avatar question, but I'll allow it. Angel says, Pace, do you have your team delete all your dead cold leads or keep them to call again in the future? What do you guys think the answer to that question is? Especially somebody who understands creative finance and somebody who's been in the business long enough to know that at the end of the day, no today is not no tomorrow. And we just want to make sure that I have the opportunity. I'm now having sellers from 16, 17 weeks ago, some year ago, 2 years ago, reaching out saying, hey, is that creative finance offer still good? We got a deal under contract yesterday from a seller that called us and they said, hey, what's up? I wrote down Pace SubTo. What's this all about again? calling us, got the deal under contract. We don't throw the leads away. If somebody says, I'm never selling my house, I'm not interested in selling my house, I don't even know he got my phone number, then we're going to throw that lead away. Okay. But if they say, yeah, maybe at some point in the future, they show some interest or they might be on a list that indicates pain, then absolutely. Okay. We follow up, we follow up, we follow up, we follow up, we follow up. Okay. Your database at some point will be about where I'd say 40 to 50% of your contracts come from once you start scaling your business. Think about that. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's go back to this. So on the JV Astro micro flipper daisy chaining strategy, we do this all the time. In fact, Jamil has a really great training on this. He's great. Obviously, Jamil is my best friend. I would say that Jamil is, if I was going to go back and sign up for another mentorship ever again, Astro flipping would definitely be one of them. You get your money's worth. It's awesome. Jamil's a great educator, great culture. Everything's awesome there. We teach it in here. We do a lot of JV deals, especially with creative finance. We do a lot of JV deals with cash. This is a model that I teach all the time. Especially when you own a title company, this is like one of the easiest businesses to run. So that's another conversation for a non-avatar conversation. So Hunter Bird Dog, I love this one. This one, in my personal opinion, here's the difference between a Hunter Bird Dog and a daisy chainer, okay? A Hunter Bird Dog daisy chainer. Okay. Angie says, I want to own a title company in Colorado. Well, Angie, who do you think I'm going to own a title company with in Colorado? Well, yeah, of course. Okay. So here's a JV Astro student. Okay. Or a micro flipper. Okay. What we believe is here's the seller, the person who owns the property. Here's the, let's call them Astro student or micro flipper. And then a lot of times you'll have a whole, actually, here's how this works. Okay. This is how it works. Let me show you the JV model real quick. Okay. So JV Astro or micro flipping or daisy chaining. What it is, you've got the seller. Okay. And then you have a wholesaler that is direct to seller, right? Remember, direct to seller, that's avatar number one. Direct to seller reaches out to the seller. They get a contract. Here's the contract, right? Say C. They have a contract. They have an agreed upon price and a closing date. The direct to seller then goes out and they go, okay, well, either A, I have my own buyers that I go directly to, or B, they find a wholesaler. Okay. And then that wholesaler says, well, I'll JV with you or I'll sell it for you, right, in the Astro world. And then a lot of times, that wholesaler doesn't even have a buyer. So they go and they wholesale it to somebody else. Okay. And then that person wholesales it to somebody else. No joke. This happens all the time. Okay. I have had this happen to me where one time Cody and I did a mobile home where there were 16 wholesalers on one transaction, and they all were like 3,000, 5,000, 3,000, 5,000, 3,000, 3,000, all that kind of stuff. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was crazy how that happened. And so Cody and I we get frustrated. I do get frustrated with this model just because the problem with this model of like wholesaler to wholesaler is nobody knows who the hell they are. It's like, who's the real buyer here? I feel like I'm in a Scooby-Doo episode where it's like, I find out, okay? I find out that they're not the actual buyer, the seller. It's like, what is really going on? Yeah, exactly. So Sam Singh says, it becomes a freaking mission to get a hold of the actual decision maker. In fact, I've got one in my inbox right now if you guys want to look at it. Oh my gosh, I got emails like crazy. Hold on. I'll show you one. Let's see. Sean Cannell, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to pull this up for you guys so you guys can see this. Okay, here we go. Boom. This little email right here. Hey, Pace, I just spoke with the wholesaler. So this is a wholesaler emailing me, and it's this whole thing about like, hey, let's sign an agreement before you can actually talk to the seller and negotiate. Is this something you'd be interested in? It's like, dude, you're literally, this is what he told me. He says he's I was like, who's communicating directly with the seller? Sounds like there's another wholesaler or two involved. This happened today, 8 a.m. So instead of us sitting here talking about the actual deal, we're sitting here wasting our time trying to find out who is the actual decision maker. Okay. So Sam Singh says in the site, he says, 99% of my conversations with micro flippers turn into me almost lecturing them about how to present deals to make sure they can actually happen. Tell me to sign an NDA to get the address. You get ban-hammered. I agree. This model is a bunch of clueless human beings. Not all of them, but a lot of them are clueless. Okay. Because it's like such a low-hanging fruit to get started in this business that what happens is these wholesaler to wholesaler to wholesaler to wholesaler things is like, do you guys not know that the most valuable person in this transaction is the person I really want to talk to? Who's the most valuable person in this transaction? It's the person who's direct to seller. So if you go back to what I talked about in the beginning, I said the reason why I love this strategy, direct to seller, is because you have control and you actually can scale your business and you don't have to deal with all the knuckleheads. Okay. So this model is really challenging because once it goes past the direct to seller person and it goes to a wholesaler, to a wholesaler, to a wholesaler, these people primarily, not all of them, especially the ones that are just sitting on YouTube, they don't have an actual coach or a mentor that actually knows what they're doing and their coach or mentor is not active in the business. These people are absolutely clueless. Clueless. They don't present stuff properly. They don't know how to underwrite things. They send out trash. And so it's really tough. Okay. But in the whole, that's a wholesaler. So a wholesaler, then to a wholesaler. What they're actually doing is that finally you find somebody who has a buyer's list. And this is where Astro does a really, really good job, is that Astro actually teaches their wholesalers how to find real buyers and work real deals. Whereas most wholesalers on YouTube, et cetera, or don't have mentors or somebody who's giving them guidance, they're just going out and finding more wholesalers, right? What I like about the Keegley model is they actually teach people, they have some of the best buyers in the nation. And so they have a competitive advantage. I like that about them. It's great. It's amazing. Okay. But here's what happens. Okay. In a JV micro flipping transaction. So let's say it goes to a wholesaler. These wholesalers who, let's say hypothetically, let's say it's a Astro flipper and they actually have real buyers. What they're doing is they're blasting that out to maybe 50,000 people simultaneously. Okay, that's the model. Okay. That's the model of that business. Okay. And that is not a hunter. That is not a bird dog. Okay. The difference between this and a bird dog is that you don't have legitimate buyers and you don't end up sending it out to 50 people. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe legit buyers. These are all legit buyers. You have dinner with, they're your friends. These are real buyers. And you're only sending it to those 4 or 5 people because you very specifically 100% know what these people are looking for. And you're never you're never spending time sending them trash. Okay. My wife spends her time working with 3 buyers. I'm her number 1 buyer. So my wife goes out and she goes, I'm just going to find people who are direct to seller who already have the contract. And I'm going to go directly to my top 3 buyers. And this is how my wife makes her money because she's smart. She says a lot of times she'll take a small commission up front, right? So she'll take a small assignment up front. Then she'll say, I would like 20% or more of your profit on the deal if they're a fix and flipper. And I also want the listing when you sell it. So my wife gets paid 3 different times being that unicorn agent. Hi, Ingrid. Good to see you. Okay, so that's how my wife gets paid. So she's not sitting here wasting her time sending out an email blast to 50,000 people where 49,990 of them won't even open the email. My wife works with 3 buyers. Like Ingrid, actually, for example, I was in the pool 2 days ago, hanging out with Corbin. Ingrid sends me a voice memo and says, hey, I think I have a deal. And I go, great, I'd love to do a deal with you. So if Ingrid and I go do a deal, I told her, hey, structure it in a way where you maybe can assign it to me. So you make some upfront money. I buy the deal and you get portion of the fix and flip profit, and I'll let you list it. That's a bird dog, right? That's a bird dog. Does that make sense, guys? Everybody, does that make sense how easy and how like layered that really is? Like you technically don't even have to find the deal. You have to find you as the bird dog. Let's change this from wholesaler. You are wholesaling it technically, but it's called a bird dog. All you have to do is find the direct to seller wholesalers, people that are out there talking to sellers, closing up deals. It's the easiest damn way to get a deal. Okay. Easy way to get a deal. So my wife teaches this. She is going to start doing a lot more of this in the upcoming trainings, especially with Robin Hurt. We are going to be using something called, a lot of people are already using this, but we will be using privy.com. And I think Laura's code is privy.com/Laura. Okay. We will be using Privy. A lot of people are saying we're loving Privy. So my wife is going to teach how to be a bird dog using Privy. Okay. Privy.com/Laura. I think you get some sort of discount. Okay. So she'll be teaching this model. So that's an avatar by itself is the hunter bird dog. Okay. Does everybody understand the hunter bird dog, how it's basically free other than the cost of Privy software? We're going to be using Privy starting Monday, so you guys will be able to see that. It'll be cool. All right, here's one that I love. This one's amazing. I freaking love Gator lending. There's so many different ways to make money as a Gator lender. Number one, you can lend money for EMD to wholesalers. We have a student named Chris Calamari that he's like, I just decided to be a Gator lender. I made 20 grand in my first couple of weeks. Okay. So you can lend EMD, right? Earnest money deposit. So if you guys want to be in, if you guys want to do Gator stuff, go to the Gator training inside of SubTo. We have all the Gator training inside of there. Okay. I do live training for the Gator tribe. I've been doing it a lot of Sundays. I do it for like 3-4 hours. Okay. So Gator lenders, you can lend EMD, you do transactional funding. So what I'm doing with the Gators is that I'm teaching the Gators how to build corporate credit, and I'm teaching them how to put themselves in a situation where they will have plenty of money to lend money on EMD, transactional funding, which is like double closing. I know that I'm moving fast for a lot of people because I've done a lot of training on this. So if you want to be a Gator lender, and that's your main avatar, then go watch either the Gator lending stuff on my YouTube or go to, again, SubToCourse.com to watch all the trainings and to try and join the live Gator Zooms. Okay. So Chris Anderson says, I'd love to learn how to be a Gator lender. You can go and watch those and see that. The only people that I am live training the Gator method to are people who are actively building corporate credit. So Prime, again, this does cost money, so don't go down this road if you're not willing to spend the money. It's a couple $1,000. Prime Corporate Services.com/PACE and say, I want to be a Gator lender. What's that going to take? And they'll get you set up. PrimeCorporateServices.com/PACE. Okay. All right. So private money lender. Who in here is a private money lender? Okay, there are people in here that there's guys and gals that have joined SubTo just to be, there we go, dozen already. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Carolyn says, hashtag chat saved. Cool. So a lot of private money. The other day on a Zoom in SubTo, we counted up just in a matter of like 30 seconds. Who was on that Zoom where we counted up about $5 to $7 million just in private capital? There's a lot of money inside of SubTo, a lot of money. Okay. People doing deals with each other. Okay. Milton Peg says, it was so awesome. It's easy. Finding private money in SubTo is easy. How do I find, if I'm not a private money lender, how do I find private money inside of SubTo? It's pretty simple, right? Homework. 1, know your avatar. 2, go find 50 friends and you will freaking meet private money lenders. Come into the Zooms, and actually don't come into the Zooms to come listen or learn what I'm talking about. Come into the Zooms to build relationships and find private money lenders. There you go. Carolyn, hey, is, let's see. She knows I'm going to call her out. I hope she's in here. Virginia. Hi, Virginia. You knew I was going to call you out, didn't you?
I figured.
Okay, so guys, Virginia Drew, you don't see her a lot, and she's in the back a lot because she's shy and sweet and amazing. She runs into a pretty badass multifamily deal, and she sends me a message, and she says, hey, Pace, I need to raise money for this deal. And I'm like, well, Virginia, maybe it would be helpful if you actually came into the Zooms and tried to build relationships. I don't see you that often. She goes, you're right. And I said, you know, the best time to raise money
Before
is when you don't need it. So the way to do that, to find private money lenders, is you tell people, hey, if I find a deal, would you be willing to give me some money and come in as either a lender or a partner with me? Okay. And I've done Zooms on how to structure partners and partnerships and how to raise money and do all that kind of stuff. Okay. You do it early. You know the people, right? Like I know I could go to Derek Barton right now and get a little bit of money. I know I could go to this person, get some money. I know I could go to Travis Williams, get a couple of bucks, and Travis would come in and do a deal with me. Okay. Guys, if I had a deal right now, who in here would private money lend to me? Give me a yes. Okay. So you're going to get, obviously everybody in here, 100 plus people are all saying, yes, me, because they know who I am, Virginia. And so your sweet disposition and how smart you are, those two were two good deals. But your biggest problem was not that you didn't have a deal and you didn't know what to do with it. Your problem was that you didn't have private money accessible to you right away, which the source of that problem is not knowledge. The source of that problem was the lack of networking inside of the community.
Right.
So Virginia, you need to start coming into the Zooms more like you did today and let me highlight you, or even in the side chat, just say, oh, great comment or great this. Do you watch Sam Singh? How many times Sam Singh makes comments in the side chat?
Yes.
Do you know who Sam Singh is?
I do. Yes.
I wonder why.
Yeah, actually, I know him from the Nightly Dial. He's been on the Nightly Dial a lot.
Okay. So the more active you are, the more students know you and the easier it is to raise capital, get deals, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Good to see you, Virginia. I had to pick on her. I'm so glad she came in here because that was a phone call we had today. Okay. So if we go back to this, okay, private money lenders, there are a lot of people in this group that just become private money lenders. Like, I don't want to do anything else. Okay. That I'm doing this a lot more lately. So if you guys need private money, or you guys need a sponsor on a loan, I do a lot of this. So you guys can email Molly at AmericaHomeOffers.com. And you can say, hey, I just had somebody today, they went to get a hard money loan, right? I always tell people go to myinvestorloan.com. Okay, I say go to myinvestorloan.com. And what happened is myinvestorloan.com actually rejected them because they had a lack of credentials and some other things. And so I go, okay, well, email Molly and I'll sponsor a loan for you because you've never done a deal before. And we'll take a portion of the deal, but we'll make sure that the loan gets done because we'll use our credential. That's a sponsorship, right? There's people in here that you can literally just build an entire portfolio just by sponsoring people by being a Gator lender. You don't even have to find a deal in your life. Same thing with private money lender. Okay, depending on how you structure it, being a private money lender, you can build an entire portfolio just by being in SubTo by saying, hey, I have private money to lend, but I want partial ownership of some of the deals. Okay. Does My Investor Loan do commercial loans? Yes, up to certain dollar amounts, yes. All right. Now, here's another one. By the way, you guys, we just talked about this. I'm a lot of these avatars, okay? So like capital raiser and fund syndication, I just raised a bunch of money, millions actually. I just raised money on a 408 unit in Charlotte with accredited investors, and I only opened it up to SubTo students, and I funded that whole thing in Charlotte, 408 units in Charlotte. That was pretty cool. But I'm raising money I'm raising money on a 105 unit deal, and I am letting non-accredited investors into this deal. Does anybody want to be a partner of mine for $1,000 minimum investment? Not a lender, a partner. Okay, well, you can do this as a full-time deal. Here's the cool thing about this. You guys want to know who my partner is on this deal? Anybody that's about my age will really care about this. Anybody want to know who else will be your partner on this deal? Just throw a name out. There you go. Ingrid Hernandez, got it. Big boy, the person that's right here on my wall, one of my biggest inspirations, will be your partner on that deal. So if he says, what does the accreditation process involve? Well, it doesn't matter because in this specific deal, the 105 unit deal I'm doing, you don't have to be accredited. But the accreditation process is really simple. So if you wanted to become an accredited investor, I would Google what is an accredited investor, but it's $250,000 a year in income as an individual, or $350,000 as a household, or $1 million in net worth. That's an accredited investor. Okay. So a lot of people in here are not accredited investors, but what I want you to do is I want to give people opportunities to invest in deals with me. This 105 unit deal is actually a Morby method multifamily. So a creative finance multifamily. Does anybody want to be involved in a creative finance multifamily? And it's not just ownership that we provide, which is cool. We give you ownership, you get appreciation, you get the tax benefits. You actually are a partner, not just a lender. What I'm giving is there's no better way to learn something by actually being involved with it. And so in the non-accredited investor fund, most people are like, oh, I'm not accredited. I didn't get into Pace's Charlotte deal. Okay, well, no problem. I'll give only SubTo students access to a non-accredited investor fund on this 105 unit deal isn't that crazy? You could be a partner with Outcast in a multifamily deal. It's so crazy. I was on the phone with Big Boy yesterday and Eric was like filming it, kind of like behind the scenes. And he was like, do you ever wake up and just pinch yourself and go, how the heck do I live this life? And I go, I think 10 years ago, I would probably think that, but now I realized that when you put it in the work and you put your nose down and you just work, and you have a positive attitude and you try and change people's lives, crazy things happen. And it shouldn't be called crazy anymore. It should be an expectation. I should have an expectation. So a couple of students in this group, okay, I've actually suggested to people in this group, Tia Campbell-Peterson medium wave Dave, a lot of the leaders, I actually think that a good portion of what they should be doing is going and finding these things. So I have multiple trainings on this, on exactly how to do this. In fact, I have a very private Zoom that I'm going to clean up here in a little bit and take some personal stuff out. But Tia Campbell Peterson, medium wave Dave, I love them both so much that I actually only let these two people into a private Zoom with me and my securities attorney and also my partners on multifamily. And Tia Campbell said that was one of the most powerful things she had ever been a part of. She, in my opinion, should be spending 70% of her time building her portfolio by raising capital and being a capital raiser. Okay, that's an avatar by itself. Okay, does that make sense? Lewis says, how do we set up the investment on multifamily? Guys, in 2 weeks, I will actually be getting Big Boy from Outcast on a Zoom with us and my partner, who is my operator. Okay. My partner operator, we're going to walk through the deal. Essentially what we're doing is we're raising 2 million. So a really small amount of money. It's going to be, it'll sell out fast. $2 million, which is about 8% of the purchase price. That's how it's like 8% down. And we're giving up 35% ownership in the deal for the 8%. Pretty cool. Pretty good exchange right there, right? That's pretty dope. So that deal is in about 2 weeks, we will do that. Cool. And it doesn't matter. You can invest. I think we're going to have people that are like, I can't invest, 10,000, 20,000. You guys, we're going to put like an opportunity where you guys can invest $1,000 and you guys can be my partner on those deals. Cool. So there's an avatar right there. I could be a full-time capital raiser. Helper, I really like. This is a full-time job. Who do you guys know that are full-time helpers in this mentorship? It's a full-time job. Tanisha, Ingrid, I think Effie's going to be a full-time helper. Carolyn and Myron are prolific. Definitely like the Daryl Ellisons of the world. You got Elena Tang, right? You see her all the time. She does a mindset Zoom every Saturday. Who else do you guys feel like has been so helpful in getting deals done or mindset fixes? Caleb Christopher, Caroline, Dan Quijano. Who else do we got? Dustin, Rachel Schwartz. She's great. Caroline, Marlon, Mindset Marlon, Kevin Cho, the Bash brothers, Creighton. Oh my gosh, I love Creighton. Creighton was like student number 30 in the program. Richard Knowles, Mitch Roy, Uncle Lonza. I mean, Mamadou, I was just talking to him, voice memoing him. Carolina Allen, Gary's awesome. Luciano, right? So like, guys, there are so many people that are helping others. And helping is like, you know what we should do is I should ask maybe Carolyn and Elena and anybody else, we should do a whole series on how to become a helper in this group. Okay. She says she would love to. So we'll set that up at some point in the next 30 days or so. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's 200 to the wholesaler, 100 to Mario down. So it's technically 300 down. So at close of escrow, I got to wire 300 grand. Yeah. Yeah. No, the 440 gets deducted the 100. I mean, that's the whole point is that I got to pay that off before we can transfer the deed. On that contract, it needs to be fixed. Yeah, it needs to be fixed. It needs to be applied to the 440. Yeah. Good question. Sorry, guys. Over here trying to make millions of dollars. Sorry. All right. So helper, if you guys want, we can do a whole dedicated series on helper, but you guys see what the helpers are doing in the group, right? Sometimes the problem is it's like, so I have so many series going on right now where we have Scorch method. We're also going to rebuild the Lonza method. So Carolyn, get together with Elena and do this. Here's what we'll do. You know what we'll do, Carolyn and Elena, is what I would do is I would get a group of 10 helpers. Okay. So it's not just you two, get a group of like 10 helpers. And I would like you guys to replace the mindset series for maybe a month on Saturdays. Reach out to Elena and tell her this and say, Pace wants us to do a whole syllabus on how to become a helper and what are the things to do and how to make money doing it. And, you know, what does that business look like? Could you do something like that for me, Carolyn, and build a syllabus that you guys can follow for basically a month? Cool. Awesome. So you guys see the difference between this is Pace's mentorship instead of our mentorship? Do you guys see that this is our mentorship? We're here to help each other out. Again, ironically, Carolyn is helping by creating a series about helping. Isn't that ironic? It's funny. All right. So that's a whole avatar by itself. And I would say like a helper doesn't have to be somebody closing deals. I would say Tanisha was the first person that really sparked this in my mind. Hold on. Am I spelling her name wrong? I did that really fast. So, Tanisha, when she came in before she had ever done deals, oh, my bad. Okay. Sorry guys. I did it really fast. See, Ingrid is helping me. What Tanisha did is Tanisha found the top 25 questions that people are constantly asking when they come into the Zooms and they come into the community. And she would literally just copy and paste all the top 25 answers to those questions. And she was just helping everybody she possibly could. And that was before she knew what she was doing with creative finance. She just knew where the resources were. Okay. So she would just help people. And then people got to know her. Like she's so absolutely helpful. And now she does deals with people and she's a buyer, right? That is where she became a cash buyer. She's a buyer. Tanisha is unbelievable. I call her the heart of SubTo. She's such a sweetheart. She helps out with so many things. She's not on my team, but she basically helps run this mentorship. Okay. So it's like, are you helping run this community? That would be somebody that's a helper. Okay. Okay, now cash buyer. Who in here is a cash buyer? Let's hear this. Who in here is a cash buyer? You want to buy deals from other students. You want to fix and flip deals with other students. Tell me. Effie says me. Cile says me. Jose says, okay, so some people are saying not yet. Love it. Not yet. Some people are saying not yet. Other people are saying yes, me. Okay. Bob Wharton says me. A lot of people are going to be cash buyers. Okay. I can tell you a lot of the helpers end up becoming cash buyers and they end up knowing how to connect with the private money lenders. They know how to raise money. Okay. Or they know how to go find the private money lenders and they go, hey, I'm a cash buyer. And they go put a deal together. I'm part of deals right now. This is an interesting one. I'm part of a deal right now with Munif, Noah Hoffman, Airbnb King, Tracy, and myself. And Munif was the closer. Noah. So Tracy brought the lead, right? So she was the direct to seller. Munif closed it, and then Noah is going to manage it. And then I'm the private money lender on the deal. Interesting how 4 people are all going to make money on it. It's a 5-unit Airbnb in Dallas, Texas. All of these people are in SubTo. Do you see how awesome this is, guys? Like, is this helping you guys understand that this is what should be going on? I'm going to remind you, I've never done a deal on my own in my life. I've never done a deal on my own in my life. And so many people don't realize that you knowing your avatar is so critical for you to have clarity to just follow for 60 days. And some of these avatars you're not ready for, right? There's a lot of people in here that's like, I'm not ready to be a cash buyer. Well, why? Well, Pace, I don't have money. Okay, well, you don't need money. You could actually just bring in a private money lender. Oh, well, I don't know enough private money lenders. Okay, well, then you need to be more active in the Zooms. You need to be more helpful in the SubTo community. And over time, you'll get those private money lenders. And then you don't need to be the cash infusion. You could just be the cash buyer, but you bring private money lenders to the table. Does that make sense, guys? Like putting these pieces together and aggregating other avatars. Is this starting to click for everybody? Yeah, Chantel says, how does that work with splitting the profit between you and the 5? Do you all stay on the Airbnb? Yeah, we all are 5. There's 4 of us, and we are all owners of all 5 Airbnbs. That same group, Munif, Noah, and Tracy, now have a 22-unit Airbnb. Okay. The challenge is, you guys want to know what the biggest challenge I have as the leader of this group? This is the biggest challenge I have is getting all the messages of all the success stories and being able to tell you guys every success story so everything clicks. There are so many success stories in SubTo. It is absolutely bonkers. Jose Flores says, do you all make a new LLC to partner on it? Yes, we created an LLC. This is an interesting question outside of this, but I'll allow it. So the properties, right? It's 5 units are in one LLC, and every one of us has our ownership in our own LLC. So this might be Pace. This is Noah. So your LLC owns the portion of the LLC. Does that make sense, guys? You don't create an LLC and own it together like I would never take this LLC and just put all of our names on one LLC. That's a knucklehead thing. You create an LLC that owns the properties, and you have your LLCs that own the portion of that property. Does that make sense? Give me a yes. That's how it's always done. That's how it's always done. You never form an LLC. 2 human beings, two individuals should not have their names on an LLC together. You should have an LLC that your 2 businesses own 50-50. Does that make sense, everybody? And if you have questions, by the way, is there anybody in the industry that teaches corporate structure better than us? That's another series that we teach and we talk about all the time is corporate structure and what the LLCs are supposed to look like. Nobody talks about this. Nobody. So if you guys want to learn more about my corporate structure, where do you go? You go to SubToCourse.com in the vault. I've already done it. I did it a year ago. It took me 15 hours or so to record that. Okay, so if you guys want to learn how partnerships and all that kind of stuff are done, SubToCourse.com, go into the vault. Tanisha, who is a wonderful helper, she's sitting there all the time organizing all the Zooms and putting them in the right place. So if you guys ever need to find something, definitely email support@SubTo.com. But Tanisha, who you all should know, she is a cash buyer. You should be sending deals to Tanisha. She's amazing. She also knows where all the Zooms are because she is constantly in my Zoom. She's the only, I'll tell you this, Tanisha's the only student in SubTo that I give access to the vault to edit the vault. That's how much of a helper she is. You guys should all make a post in the Facebook group and thank this woman for the countless amount of hours she's put in to help you guys. That's a helper. Helpers gain recognition, they gain exposure, and people then want to do deals with them. Tanisha's somebody everybody in here should want to do a deal with. Okay. All right, so cash buyers, we know what that is. A connector, this one's really, really good. So let me give you an example of this. Pay attention to this. A connector is different than a helper. A helper is somebody who's probably a little bit more nurturing, like a Carolyn, an Elena Tang, a Tanisha. Probably most helpers, no offense to the men in there, but most helpers are going to probably be female. Is that misogynistic or anti-opposite misogynistic? What do you call that? A man hater? Am I a man, he-man hater? Women are so much more nurturing and so much more caring in their nature. And so most women are going to be way better at helping because they care, right? And so like a Carolyn, if I have a problem and I have a mindset issue, or Elena Tang, I have a mindset issue, go to them. They'll help you overcome your mindset stuff, right? Men, when somebody comes to me and goes, help Pace, I got a mindset issue. I'm like, stop being a bitch. That's my way of telling you to overcome your mindset stuff, right? So you probably don't need that from me. That's not how you overcome stuff. Some men respond to that. Some people don't. A connector is different. Okay. So let me tell you guys, yeah, Creighton is very good, but Creighton is also very nurturing. He has some of those qualities and Creighton is a friend of mine. He was a student 2.5 years ago, and he became a friend of mine within a couple of months. I just saw how consistent and loving and awesome he is. Creighton's awesome. Keston's awesome too. A lot of men are very, very powerful in this group. I'm just saying overall, the majority of people you're going to find are going to be female. A connector is a little bit more strategic about what they're doing and why they're doing it. It's a little bit more cold-blooded. Okay. It's not, that's probably wrong. It's a little bit more like intentional of like, I know exactly why I'm talking to this person. A helper is like, how can I help? Let's figure it out. Right. So I go to a meetup. Listen to this. I go to a meetup and I'm at this meetup and I'm talking to somebody. And he said, I go, what's your number one problem in your business? He's like, I have $1 million in cash and I don't know what to do with it. I have a problem because I have to roll it into something like really quickly. I go, oh, cool. All right. So I take a note, literally like, okay, here's the people that have money. Here's the people that have deals. Here's the this, here's the that. And I'm like, I'm essentially, if I'm a connector, I know everybody. I know everybody in SubTo. I know their avatar. I know whether they have money or not, because when somebody says, I have a deal, guess what happens? So this guy says, I have money. And I'm at this meetup, literally 4 minutes later, I talk to the next guy. I go, what's your problem in your business? What do you need help with? He goes, I have a deal I need $1 million for. I don't know where I'm going to find it. Okay. So if he says, that's me, love that stuff. So guess what I did? I introduced these two people. This is what I did. The person that had the project that needed $1 million, I go, so if I was able to bring you the $1 million, could you give me ownership of this deal? This guy's name's Dave, by the way. I'll show you the email. I got an email about the deal today. Dave goes, yeah. It's a 75-acre development into multifamily. And he's like, absolutely. So I go back to this guy, go, let me introduce you to. And I had already worked out my percentage. So I got a percentage of a 75-acre development turning into multifamily by simply connecting two people and working my way into that deal. Do you guys understand the power of a connector? Do you need to find the deal? Do you need to find the money, like have the money? Do you need to negotiate the deal, find the contractor, do any of that kind of stuff? Okay. There we go. There, Jody Evans right there. There's Jody. He's the guy that has the money. Jody Evans brought money to me. I introduced him to a project, and the project developer, Jody, I imagine we got the deal worked out with the percentage that it's not coming out of your side. We figured that all out, right? Give me a yes if we did. Perfect. Amazing. When you sent me that text message yesterday, I was like, how dare you guys? Like, that's not the agreement we had. So, but you can connect people, connect the dots, right? Like Jody Evans, actually, is the person that I'm talking about specifically. This is not a fake story. This is real. Jody's actually in the Zoom with us right now. Jody needed to roll his money into another investment, and he had to find something. And all the other opportunities he had were all flaky and non-committal. Jody rolls his money into this deal, and it's going to be an amazing project that Jody will make a bunch of money on. It'd be amazing. Okay, Mamadou says, I just did that for Bilal. So a connector, guys, how do you become a connector? How do we do that? Let's talk about some specific ways you can become a connector in this community. How do we do that? Give me some specific tactics, some strategies we can implement. Jody says, Pace bailed me out and I'm eternally grateful. And he has been super grateful. He's tells me that all the time and I appreciate him for that. Okay. Here's how you do it. Guys, forget about brand. Well, yeah, Victor is actually, you're right, technically. Guys, here's how you become a connector. You're active in the SubTo community and you know everybody and their avatar. Okay. There are people that make a full-time living literally doing nothing but that, helping people in SubTo. And they go, oh, you have a deal, right? Who has a deal in here right now, by the way, that needs to be funded? Who has a deal in here right now that needs to be funded in this Zoom? Gloria, me, Mamadou, he says always do. Victor says me. Okay, it's too many people. I can't even read it, right? It's too many fast names are moving. I can't even read it. So what if somebody came to you guys and said, hey guys, I know another student that has some private money. Would you let me wedge myself into the ownership of this deal if I could bring the private money to you? What would you deal, like the people that just said me, what would you say to that if I said, hey, I'll bring money to you? Daniel says, bet. Hell yeah, yes, right now. Okay, do you guys see the value of a connector? And if you're somebody in here brand new going, oh my gosh, you're telling me I don't have to find the deal. I don't have to negotiate. I don't have to generate leads. I don't have to do anything. And I don't even have to have the money. I literally put these two people together and work out an arrangement where I get paid. Don Walker says, I did that for Stephanie this weekend and she got the deal done. Good for you, Don Walker. I imagine you got paid for that. You wedged yourself in the deal into the ownership structure somehow. Don says, no, Don, why would you have not been paid to do that? This is an avatar that deserves to get paid. So you do that up front, okay? And well, she's a giver, but you know what? It's really hard to give when you have nothing to give. And after a month or two of just helping people and you can't pay your own bills, that's a problem, right? Givers need to make money. Alejandro Alvarez, my brother, leader, by the way, direct to seller, Alejandro Alvarez, direct to seller, also a closer, private money raiser, right? Lender, cash buyer. Alejandro Alvarez, good brother of mine. Josh says, I have a 10-unit owner finance deal in Florida that needs to be funded. Okay, well, Josh, you know what I would do? Anybody in here, let me ask you guys a question. We got a couple hundred people in here. How many people in this group right now in this Zoom feel like now when you see the side chat going on, you have failed at connecting with your fellow students at the level you should be? Crazy, isn't it? You got half the group in here that has private money, and the other half of the group in here has deals to be funded. If it's me, I'm just chilling in the Zoom knowing who is everybody as a connector, and I'm working my way into these situations and providing value to everybody. Just that alone, being accessible to you as a SubTo student, is worth. E20 says, how do I understand contracts with private money lenders? Go and watch my private money lending series in the SubTocourse.com. Peggy says, I've been a helper, not paid. I'm running out of money. Helper, Peggy, you need to have these explanations up front. I would connect with Carolyn, Peggy. Please call Carolyn and say, how are you doing this properly? Guys, don't do anything for free, okay? The value of people doing, even when people bring deals to me, they go, Pace, I want to do a deal with you. Just because I want to do a deal with you, I go, oh no, I can't sleep at night if you're not paid. Everybody gets paid on my deals. Everybody. Okay. If you are a student in this group and another student helps you and this student that's helping you says they're willing to do it for free, you as a business professional say, absolutely not, you're getting paid. Do we all agree with that? That should be a standard rule inside of SubTo. Shame on you if you take anything for free from anybody. Shame on you. That's not how we operate. ever. It's not how I will ever operate. It's bad karma. You give people what they deserve, and most of the time give them more. Okay. So do not do anything for free. Now, do things without expectation and help people even if the deal doesn't happen. Do things without expectations all the time. Go back and watch our book club with Bob Berg, Go Giver. We had Bob Berg come into the mentorship private. Do you guys know how much I paid Bob Berg to come in here for you? $10,000. What's up, Justin Tumanowski, one of my brothers? Good to see you, man. Peggy, Carolyn, she's right here. Carolyn with a K, Karolyn. I bring up her name frequently. Not Caroline, Carolyn. She's going to put her comments are in the side chat. She says, oh, I know her. Well, you're not communicating with her, right? So if you guys want to learn how to become an amazing giver inside of SubTo with no expectation, but still get paid, go watch the Bob Berg thing. I paid 10 grand to bring him in here. Okay. 10 grand. Nobody else got that. Didn't put that on YouTube, nothing. It was just SubTo. All right. Now a couple of other ones. These are leader. Who in here is a leader? Who in SubTo is a leader? Justin. Hey, Justin, can I chat with you for a minute, brother? It actually gives me chills. What's funny, I'm like literally the hair on my body is standing up right now thinking about Justin. What's up, brother?
What's going on? I'll have my microphone on.
That's okay. You look great. Sounds great. Justin, you weren't always a leader when you first joined, right? You kind of had to find your rhythm and all that stuff and figure out that this is way more than just a mentorship. 100%. And this is way more than a mentorship because of people like Justin and Alejandro Alvarez and Daniel Wynn and all sorts of amazing people. Mamadou. Dude, thinking about the leaders in this group makes me want to cry. Bro, I see you on Instagram doing deals with other students and just being a badass leader all the time. I am so damn impressed by you. Justin, could you technically make a full-time living just helping and being a leader for other people in this group?
100%. Yeah. I never thought I wanted to do the JV thing. I was like, I got a direct to seller business. I'm good. Like, all of a sudden, I've been telling people this too. Randomly, you go give, you put it out there, that we practice what you preach and we listen to you, my brother. And all of a sudden I look back and I go, a year and a half later, I go, oh shit, we're doing a bunch of deals. July is busy. And next thing you know, it's all the other SubTo students. It's the messages I'm getting. Hey, I just saw your post. I see you a lot under, it happens to be bankruptcy lately. Can you help me? I'm meeting so many people too. And it's not a conscious effort when you just slowly do it. And every day, just try to put something out, do something. And you look back and you reflect, you go, dang, it's working.
Bluetooth
I didn't even expect that.
Bluetooth connected.
I hope that makes some sense.
It's funny is like, even going back to you when you first joined a year and a half ago and, being a mastermind, even when you came to the mastermind and I was saying stuff to you, like, you're not helping enough of the main student body. It's not like you've been doing this for a year and a half of helping and closing deals for other students. And I see them, I'm seeing them pop up. Like, I'm seeing you on Instagram and I'm seeing you in the Northeast group, like Suzanne. Who is that human being, dude?
Yeah, she's our mother hen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, I just when Jamil and I were in Boston, what was that, 2 months ago? And I just looked at what you and Suzanne and the other leaders are doing in the Northeast. It's just like, you guys not only caught the vision, but you're like taking it to the level it deserves. And I'm so proud of you. And so my thing is, like, you're a leader. right? Like you're leading with value and you're leading all the time. And you can't just join SubTo and immediately have that happen. You got to kind of start building a name for yourself, and you got to, people start talking about you because you've been helping. Like I could go off for an hour about all the hundreds and hundreds of other students that are like you. And you just put it simply, every day, put something out there. I don't see you in all the Zooms. I see you in enough Zooms. You come out, you get your name out there. You're not coming to me with questions all the time because you come into the Zoom to connect and to lead this community.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a dedicated avatar itself. Justin, if you turned off everything else in your life, all lead generation, everything else, and you were just a leader in this group, could you make $500,000 a year in SubTo?
Easily.
Crazy.
Yeah,
and probably acquire a couple $1 million in rentals and all that kind of stuff as well.
Again, I blinked, and the next thing you know, we're closing on $1 million at the end of this month on deals. And I don't know, I haven't even calculated it all, right? It's incredible. And it's the people, the Bash Bros now, we're doing deals, and I met them at the mastermind, and I am promoting to SubTo. Again, I have an agent who's texting me locally. She's like, how do I get in? I'm seeing you all the time, repping this brand in this community. I need in. And one of my partners is coming in too. I know I deviated a little bit, but the possibilities are endless. You just need to take action and be genuine. That's it.
And the other thing too is, like, if you guys are new, you need to find the people that have been in here for over a year and go, how can we do a deal together? And like, one of my big goals for the leaders in the group is like, stop thinking about yourself, right? So like, goal number one, understand your avatar. Where should you be starting? Should I start direct to seller? Should I start JV? Should I start Lonza method? Should I start direct to agent? Should I start these methods? And understand that there will be a goal at some point where you could become a leader like Justin, Mamadou. Guys, I feel bad not saying everybody's names in the side chat because there's literally, like, how many friends do you think you have in here, Justin? 100, 200, 500?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, even speaking to folks and knowing, just having a few engagements, you're still a friend. Everyone's a friend. Everyone's a family member. But yes, easily 100.
It's easily crazy. So like, when you're newer, the goal should be like, okay, number one, get your avatar. Number two, make 50 friends. Number three, get your first deal as fast as possible by leveraging the community and the leaders. And then once you get another deal, one of your deals, you should go find 5 people that have not done a deal and put them on your vision board and say, these are the 5 people I'm going to help go get their first deal. And that is the spirit and why this is such a different community. Any other mentorship anybody ever joined, like, who's doing Zooms on random Thursdays at noon talking about avatars and how to segment based on your personality and help each other out? It doesn't exist.
Nope.
It doesn't exist except here. Okay. So we are creating something powerful. And I look at the reason why I got chills, and it's even hard for me to say this without even crying, is because I look at a guy like Justin and I'm like, I saw he was a leader from the moment he joined this community, and I just had to wait for him to capture it and take action. And legit, Justin is 1/10 today of who he's meant to be as a leader.
I knew you. When I saw you at the mastermind, and again, I get chills all day when just doing our whatever, community. And you go, I want to hear from you, or I've been waiting to hear from you. And I go, oh shit, like this, you have to grow. And I wasn't even 100% ready. I wish, that's why I want to come back to the mastermind next month, or one of the next ones, to be a fly on the wall, but also to give back, to show that I can give more. But I knew you were looking, and I just knew that.
And the great thing about you is that you and I don't communicate every day. If you have a question, you reach out. You, Suzanne, and a lot of the people up there, and all the other hundreds and hundreds of leaders inside of SubTo, you guys are leading without anybody like watching you. You're just doing the work.
Yeah. We want to be an example on how the accountability should go. And Suzanne, Jeff, we're super proud that you guys came up. and we want to be great hosts and give back a fraction of what you even give. But it's carrying that torch even after you're not looking and not after you're watching. It's not about that. It's about showing, and then we can elevate all together.
Right.
And yeah, so shout out to Suzanne. She's amazing.
I rarely see her in here, but her and I DM all the time. And she was such an incredible, like just seeing what you guys as a group have created over there. And then the most amazing thing is like all the other Northeast members coming up to me at that bar. Well, there's so many layers to that. Like we go to a bar that you had quit a year prior, and now you're hosting your own real estate meetup at the bar you used to work at. And I was just like, bro, there's levels, man. You're like leveling up, and it's so fun to watch it and all of that. And then also people coming up to me at that bar saying, you don't know how much Justin's changed my life. You don't know how much Suzanne's changed my life. You don't know how much Jeff has changed my life. You don't know how much this community has changed my life. Even though you have never met me and I haven't been into all the Zooms, the leaders in this group have changed my life. And so watching you become a version of yourself, a better version of yourself in your local area and making money doing it, I'm like, bro, that's what gives me chills. I'm just so freaking proud of you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And it's all because of the community and yourself what you started. And it's not this isn't a gimmick. This isn't a paid sponsored ad, right? Because this is life, it sounds like that on the outside because someone pays. I don't want to take up your time and everyone else's, but I got to go away with my family, right? I didn't have to call anybody, take that time off. That bar that we hosted, I did work for the owner of that bar. And the funny thing was to everyone watching is a year ago, almost to the day that we did the meetup was my going away launch. Like, hey, thank you guys for your 14 years. Or thank you, Justin. And my wife and I go back and we go, oh crap. Now you're full circling with your mentor, the guy you look up to, and these people that you're all family with 1 year later. And you're hosting something there.
You're a leader.
That was a trip. But again, I was speaking the word this weekend with one of my fix and flip partner. I'm like, I can get you in on an LLC. I'm like, no. I don't want like side door or anything. I go, you need to be a member and go on your own and go like, we're still partners on that business, but you are going to be, he's a lender. He's a money guy. He is such a smart individual. I'm like, you're going to love it. His wife goes, sounds like a pyramid scheme. I'm like, oh, you want to fight me right now, don't you?
It's tough. Like when you actually create something valuable, so many other things are vacant in their value, or there's like a very specific dollar for dollar exchange, right? It's like I put $1 in, I get $1 out or $2 back. And it's like, okay, that's the standard world. What's great about this community that we've all built, there's no way it'd be where it is today without a Justin, without all these other hundreds of people that are all become leaders. Even you, bro, like what's cool is like you rely on other leaders across the country on other things too, right? It's not like you're an isolated leader in one part of the country. It's like you're calling Lonza, who's on the opposite side of the country. And we're all relying on each other. And the dollar in versus the dollar back magnitude is literally infinite, which sounds so hocus pocus. But until you're in here and you actually understand it, you're like, whoa. Have you ever seen Free Guy, the book, the new movie that just came out?
Yeah. Yep.
So Ryan Reynolds, when he finds the new glasses and he puts the superhero glasses on, I'm like, that's what it's like coming into the SubTo community. It's like you put the glasses on, you're like, holy crap, I see a whole new world of possibilities.
Filmed in Boston, and he filmed it right in front of my office to watch.
Oh yeah, that was in that same spot.
That bank it's actually a bank. No, it's not a bank. It's a lobby. But anyway, yeah, that's my office, like that right there.
That's crazy.
But yeah, braids, it's the same thing, and it's not hokey. And you don't think of the value. Don't count the dollars. I think when you stop counting the dollars that you think you're going to expect, or how much can I squeeze? I have a deal, like the deal I keep trying to tell you about in Washington. Literally, I'm working on it as camera was off. I'm like at the blank space right now is cash to a signer. I don't want any effing money, really. I'm like, but you have to put something, but I just want to give a deal. I think a smoking deal to somebody. And I'm trying to pay my mentor back. Again, deviating, but
you're the man. You're the man.
you guys, if I don't know,
It's hard to explain. I
We're
would say,
closed.
I would say something very clearly here for people to understand. Listen to Justin's elevation. Justin didn't come in here and just light the world on fire in 2 days, right? Like it takes a little bit to find your footing and find out who you are. And then think about, like, Justin, how you can articulate a sub-2 deal or a seller finance deal or raising capital or LLC structure or tax depreciation or a fix and flip. And you had a good amount of real estate experience as well. And you are a blue collar guy like me. So you understand how a house is built and stuff like that. But just your ability to articulate creative finance from now versus a year ago, bro, you're not even remotely close to the same person.
Not a chance. Not even the same family man.
Yes.
Community. Yeah, you said it well.
And so you guys have to understand that that real estate is a lifelong pursuit. And the vision of this community has always been for me to grow my business alongside of you guys and share the things I'm learning along the way. For people that joined 2.5 years ago when we first launched, they've seen it. And they're like, oh, Pace is bringing in a new thing. Pace is bringing in a new thing. Pace is bringing in a new thing. Instead of me just going, hey guys, here's a video series for you to watch and chart, paid new reach, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no. Guys, we're building our businesses together. And like watching Justin's business form and change here and switch partnerships or adjust the partnership and doing all that kind of stuff and watching that unfold and still having even a higher level relationship with Justin than when he first joined. That is the goal of this community, is for us to grow our businesses together. And the people that are just starting out, Justin, the reason why this community never ends is because the Justins of the world remember what it was like when he first joined. And he's like, yo, what do we got to do to get you your first deal? Insane.
Yep. Tell everybody, call me anytime, hit me up. The phone gets answered. I don't expect anything. I'm actually pushing away, but it's been coming back in dividends and even other aspects. So guys, take some action.
Well, look at Mindset Marlin, right? Mindset Marlin says, because Mindset Marlin joined, I think probably in the first 30, 60 days. I can't remember. Marlin, when did you join? Like you were one of the first, definitely an OG.
Mastermind.
He says like the first 60 days. So he says, so he's been in the program for over 2.5 years, right? Pace said this from the very beginning. I couldn't believe it when I said that. Everything you learn, you are going to teach us in real time. And Marlon, have I done that for the last 2 years? So while everybody else is creating these mentorships that are 6 months and you're out and then charging you a monthly fee and they do one support call a week, guys, that is not what this is. And we're doing it together. Like, this is why I always tell people, this is not my mentorship. This is not my logo. This is our mentorship and this is our logo. This means something. When people walk into a room, guys, you wouldn't believe it. I get influencers that shoot me photos and they go, the best students in my class are your community members. And I was like, oh, how did you know they were my community? And they go, because they come in here wearing your guys' freaking emblem. And guys, it means something to me that you guys are going out there and representing this community so strongly, right? And I always tell people, like, don't join SubTo. Work with my students. That's what I freaking want. Like, I want you guys impacting the world around you and becoming better spouses, better siblings, better friends, better real estate investors, and being super impactful, like right in your local community. And you guys have the ability also to do it nationwide with each other. Justin has helped people do deals all over the freaking place.
Yeah. Colorado, California, it's everywhere. With the whole East Coast now, it's great.
The Giselle says, I felt I was lost before I found this community. Love you guys. And we feel the same way. If you don't feel that with me in here, right?
Oh yeah. Go to Aria too with the SubTo hat on. If you want to feel like probably when Pace goes out, when he goes and just walk in his neighborhood and all the ladies are hollering at him, you're going to feel like that. But no, the RIA SubTo hadn't put it on, and Northeast was very quiet. There's a lot of people reaching out to me now in the Northeast saying, hey, I'm brand new. Do you mind if I walk one of your rehabs? Mind if I tag along to see your business? I had to slow a few people down and say like, hey, how about you introduce yourself? Tell me a little bit about what you're doing and pull it back a little bit. But we're getting more popular. However, that even my wife, Katie, was with me and she's like, we were the last people at this RIA and I was in the corner. And so many people just wanted to know what we were doing. And they wanted to actually hear it from someone else's mouth. And we were like reflecting on the way home, like, that was really weird, but it was really cool. And I made a lot of friends. Again, not saying it, I'm just saying like, it's that logo and everything. We actually, it's a gang. Like I literally love and keep the brand and the community in my heart. Like I wear it with pride. That hat is like, don't mess it up.
It's the same thing for me too. I've got, it's like the thing that really hurt my feelings is when the TV show is like, you can't wear your logo on the TV show. And I was like, I feel naked without it. I want people to know and here's the thing. And at one point it was a year before I was a mentor, this was a logo I created because it came from a seller, right? One of my sellers, his name's Dave. Dave sends me this text message late at night one night. And he's like, thank you for saving us out of the situation. And I was like, isn't it amazing what creative finance can do? And he sends me a text back and he says SubTo. And that was it. And I was like, that's the logo. That's the logo. Because ironically, the seller didn't know it wasn't spelled SubTwo. It was just spelled SubTo. But I was like, oh, that's cool. It's kind of tongue in cheek, whatever. So I was like, all right, great. I'm creating a logo. So I hired somebody to create a logo. And I started talking about SubTo like crazy, and that was the logo. And people used to think about me when they see that logo. They don't think about me anymore. They think about our community and they think about what we mean. And when you say, oh, you guys want to see something that's funny? I have an email right now from a student of ours that was negotiating with a wholesaler. And then when the student says, well, I'm a SubTo community member, was literally what he said. The wholesaler dropped his fee in half. He's like, oh, dude, all right, got it. Let's figure this out. It means something to be in here. And I'm proud of all of you guys for making that happen. I could not have done that and would not have been able to do that without you guys. It wasn't me. I'm the one that sparked it and kept it going. And I'm like blowing on the fire as I'm blowing on the kindling. And all of a sudden this big bonfire that's raging, guys, you guys are the ones that were the gasoline. You guys were the gasoline on this fire.
Yeah, and we're held to a standard too. I hosted a 4th of July party and I invited anyone up locally to come up. And we had about 150 people out in our cul-de-sac but our SubTo, yeah, it's a neighborhood thing too, but they're calling friends of friends. Everyone gravitates here. It was a good event. All our SubTo, there's about 10 of us are up against the house, and they're allowed to come in and go and do whatever they want. Almost like the open door policy that you've expressed to us several times.
Right.
But a lot of folks, we hired the porta potties and all that out there for everybody else. But they're like, you're just going to let people come in? I'm like, this SubTo, I trust them. They steal from me. And it doesn't have to be anything locally here. It's SubTo will handle it. We weed out the bad eggs.
We do.
And that's what I love. And that's why everyone can remain friends. Things happen, but they work themselves out.
Yes.
That's what I love.
That's a great way of putting it. Jose Flores says, I'm blessed to have found y'all. I can't wait to work with everyone more and more. So guys, if you've learned anything from this, here's the homework. Okay. Number one, and I've got one last avatar real quick. Let me touch on that before I wrap up. It's working for someone. You cannot understate. I cannot understate that, or I actually can't overstate that. If you guys are somebody that's like, I'm new and I've got the ability to just work for another SubTo student as an acquisition rep or a learned disposition, underwriting, lead management, whatever it is, helping out with systems and processes, find a mastermind student who's looking for help. If you can't find a mastermind student that's looking for help, go and ask the community and say, guys, I need to plug in somewhere and I can dedicate 3 hours a day, 2 hours a day, whatever it is for 6 months straight. And I want to just bring value to your business because I need somewhere to plug into. Okay. Tanisha says she gives that advice daily. Go work for somebody. KT says that is definitely my other avatar. Who in here feels like they would benefit by working for a Justin in the Northeast, doing lead management or filtering out his Instagram DMs or whatever?
I need it right now. Lead manager. Sorry for the shameful plug. Dedicated lead manager. I'll train you, teach you, bring you money, bring you deals. I have leads that are too many leads.
There you go.
But you
So there's
dedicated.
Jason. He's a mastermind student, an unbelievable leader in the group. He's saying, I need a full-time lead manager. So that is a great avatar to have, is like, look, I know real estate takes a long time. And this is a really sad thing. The sad thing is that most people out there teach you that becoming a millionaire in real estate takes 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Guys, this is more than doing real estate. This is becoming a business operator, hiring, onboarding, dealing with money management. Oh, crap. I have a partner that I got to break up with. Oh, damn. I'm going through a divorce. Oh, damn. This is happening. Guys, this is becoming a better evolution of yourself over and over and over and over and over. It takes years. Real estate is a lifelong pursuit. And this is why I never put an end to this mentorship, is because I am growing every day. I'm improving my business every day. How can I expect you guys to do it in 6 months? How can I expect you guys to do it in a year? And so if you guys add value to this community, you will never have to leave. There are people that come in here. We're actually what we're thinking is, somebody asked me, what's your ultimate goal with like student count inside of SubTo? I was like, oh man, it's kind of a limited thought, because I'm not the one that makes the money, right? Everybody knows that I partnered with New Reach. They do a great job. And New Reach makes the majority of the money in the community. So it's not about the money for me, but I realize that the growth of SubTo means new private money lenders, new lead managers, new JV partners, new people to be friends with, like all the things, okay? All of the things. And I was like, you know what I should do is I should, and I fought this thought, but these are like these weird thoughts that come in my mind. We have 5,000 students as of today, roughly, right? A little bit more. And I look at that and I go, well, there's a lot of them like Matthew Simmons or Scott Oots that are making $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a month that you'll never see in the Facebook group or in the Zooms, but they are there to help people. And I was like, you know what I should do is I should find the active students and put them into, like, everybody that's been in here a year, but they're not active anymore because they've gone off, their business is built and they're like moving on and whatever else. You know what I should do is pull them out of the group and just make sure that I keep it under 5,000 active students. And then I was like, why would I do that? That's crazy. Like it was such a weird thought that I had, that I thought I only want active people in here. And why did I change my mind is because I remember, like, when I was a missionary for my church, and other people, you guys go to church, people fall away from the church for a while, right? They lose sight of what's important for a while. Could be 5 years, could be 10 years. But what's amazing about church is the social aspect is that when you show back up to that church, guess who's at the pulpit? The preacher's still there. Like a freaking foundation, just reliable, consistent. And that means so much to people, and it means a lot to me. And so for me, I'm like, you know what? The goal of SubTo is for all of us to get to a point where you can come in here into SubTo, and if you can't get a deal done in SubTo, you almost had to try not to. That's the ultimate goal. If somebody joins and I can confidently say, you didn't do a deal, you didn't start and build momentum, buy a rental, do a wholesale, whatever it is, it's because you tried not to. You went out of your way to not take action. You went out of your way to avoid students reaching out to you. You went out of your way to avoid the emails. You went out of your way to like not be part of stuff. And Tanisha says you have to try really hard.
Well, and then the life goals, well, the action is in our training too. Like, it's not just real estate, it's life changing. It's the mindset. Shout out Elena, right? Like, that training is even there to change that behavior. It's even in here, but you just got to take that little ounce of extra. What did I say? What is it? Ed Milet. One more day. Yeah.
Yeah. He said he was going to kill himself, and his dad was like, or no, he said he was going to quit. His dad's like, just give it one more day.
One more day.
Just give it
Same
one more
thing
day.
Here. Everything is in here. What do you say? Can't solve any problems.
Think about this, bro. Think about what you've done in a year and think about what you'll do over the next year. That gives me back chills, dude. Like just thinking about that.
Yep. I love it. I talk about it every day. Oh, it's not like, I'm not counting the dollar. It's not even about the dollar anymore. It's about what's next. What is the next thing that I can conquer and do? And and it's not a change in scene or I'm going to go open an electrical business again. No, it's what else can we do? Who else can I JV with?
What other type of transaction can I get my hands on? Can I do a SubTo deal? Okay, great. Done. How can I do a seller finance deal? Done. Can I get a 0% seller finance deal? Done.
Yep.
It's like boom, 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 bro. It's fun to watch, man. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much.
Love you, brother. Appreciate you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you and Suzanne are doing up there.
Thank you.
So guys, there's like Justin's one of 1,000 amazing leaders across the country. Mamadou, look at Mamadou. I just did a podcast with him not too long ago. Mamadou told himself before he joined SubTo, he goes, if this mentorship doesn't work, I'm quitting real estate because this is fake. Real estate is fake. It's all bullshit. That was literally what Mamadou told himself before he joined this community. And now look at him. He's a leader. He's getting other people deals. He's raising money. He's closing deals for people. Like, we needed Mamadou. We needed Mindset Marlene. We needed Justin. We needed everybody in here. I'm proud of you guys when you get your first deal, but I'm impressed by you when you help other people. And I'm impressed by you, Justin. I'm impressed by all you leaders. Like speaking of Ed Milet, if I had to have a choice to have a conversation with one person or another, Ed Milet or Justin, all day long, I'm hanging out with Justin. You're more impactful in my life than an Ed Milet ever could be. So appreciate all of you guys in here. All right. Was this helpful, everybody? Do we understand the 19 avatars? Before we bounce, everybody in the side chat, please what do you think is your first avatar? I don't mind if you type in 4 or 5 avatars, but what is the first avatar you should focus on for the next 60 days? Gator, helper, connector, love it. Helper, JV. Knowing me, well, yep. For me, there you go. Matt is direct to seller. Me, direct to sellers all day long. Like my first avatar, always have focused on is direct to seller. I love direct to seller. Gives me control. Oh, look at Carolyn and Myron loving on each other. Hey, can I call on you guys for just a second? I was going to end this, but now I see you guys kissing on each other. Wow.
Hi. How are you?
Are we trying to close this freaking deal in Texas or what?
Yes, we are. We're on our way, sir. And yep. Mm-hmm.
Are you guys going to be like super happy to own a 30-unit apartment complex with me?
Yes, absolutely.
Ecstatic.
We're very, very grateful. Thank you.
I love working with you guys. You guys are some of my favorite people.
We're ready to do more deals with you.
Let's do it. Let's go help more people and bring more deals. Let's go.
We're working on hunting a Nashville deal down to do it with Yatong and Justin. So
love it. You're going to do a Justin Tumanowski and Yatong, or Justin, her husband?
Justin, her husband, but we would love to do one Justin Tumanowski too.
I love it.
Of course.
I love it. So, hey guys, here's the thing before we end. Here's what I always want to do. Anytime you're a leader inside of SubTo, Carolyn, I know you and Myron are leaders. Anybody that is a leader in SubTo, it doesn't mean you have to be in here a year or 6 months or 3 months. If you're a leader and you're in here, you should be looking at people in the side chat and you should be typing, if you haven't gotten your first deal, text me. So let's take a minute or two. If you haven't gotten your first deal, if you are a leader, please make sure you type that in. If you haven't gotten your first deal, please text me. Now, one thing that we're doing, this is going to be cool. One thing that we're going to be doing is that multifamily deal I told you guys about, where I'm going to let non-accredited investors into the fund. We are only allowing that for SubTo students. It's the 105 unit Fayetteville deal. I'm sorry, not Fayetteville. It's in Louisiana, 105 unit deal where I'm partnering with Big Boy from Outcast. That's going to be pretty cool. That is a creative finance multifamily deal. So if you guys are looking to get your hands on your first deal and say, I've done it, I've gotten my hands on my first transaction and I'm a partner, we're going to be doing that in 2 weeks. We're going to be talking about that opportunity. Big Boy from Outcast will be in the Zoom. My operator partner will be in the Zoom. My securities attorney will be in the Zoom, and we'll have a lot of fun with that. So, Carolyn and Myron, proud of you guys too.
Thank you.
Fun watching you guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Hey, by the way, save the side chat. That's why I walked in and said, we got to save this side chat.
Can you do a
think I don't know
Zoom
that?
on how to save the side chat for people?
We'll put it in the helper series.
No.
How to help you save the side chat.
I love that. I love it. Love it.
So
Love
we
it.
click the little
Oh my god.
3 dots thing, the ellipsis thingy. Yeah. 3 little buttons.
Integrator mode here.
Benjamin Martinez says, I haven't done a SubTo deal, only Gator deals. Bro,
Ooh.
if I live my whole life just doing Gator deals and that was my avatar, then you've successfully arrived, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, if all you want to do is Airbnb and you say, oh man, I haven't done multifamily, I've only done Airbnb. Well, if that's your avatar, then that's your avatar, right? What do you want to what do you want to do? Okay. Good to see you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Same to you.
All right, everybody. I love you. I appreciate you. If this was good, please. And if you're watching this in the future, make sure you tell your MSA, this is the avatar I'm going to choose for the next 60 days. And I'm dedicated to this, and choose that avatar and find the resources and dig deep and understand that this is not a mentorship of just a bunch of videos. This is not something that we just do one support call a week. We do 21 support calls a week, depending on your avatar and what you need to spend time on. Come into the Zooms and be part of the community, build friendships with people. You can see what happened with Virginia Drew, who's been in this mentorship for a while. She now has a deal and she goes, I don't have the money for the deal. And I asked Virginia, it's because you're not spending time in here. Meanwhile, in the side chat, you can see millions of dollars is sitting in the Zoom right now of people that have cash. And then there's people in the same Zoom that have millions of dollars that's needed to finish and finalize deals. And you're in the same Zoom. You just aren't asking the right questions. So make sure that you pick your avatar, you tell your MSA. You also make 50 friends and you grow together, and you understand that the goal of this community is to be in here for as long as possible. We're not doing upcharges and any of that kind of stuff. This is truly the only community in real estate that does anything remotely close to this. Man, I'm so excited. I'm pumped. I want to go get a deal done. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I will be visiting South Carolina this weekend and hanging out with a lot of you guys. I'll be in Atlanta on Saturday, Atlanta Friday night, Saturday, South Carolina, and I'm coming back. And then I'll be traveling all over the country for the rest